G'day and welcome back to the next episode of the Life Lid podcast. I'm joined today in the studio by a very interesting individual. He's a father of two, a basketball fanatic, a practitioner of NLP or neuro-linguistic programming, but you might best recognise his face from such shows as Australia's SAS, Godless, the Eastfield Exorcism, Occupation Rainfall, or maybe even as one of the River Boys on Home and Away. Please give a warm welcome to my friend, Dan Ewing. Dan Ewing, how are you, brother?
It only took us 3 takes to get the
mate.
sound clap.
It's you're not the first one to fuck it up, I'll be honest.
That's great.
It's something that happens quite often.
No, so I'm used to having a crew of 100 people and slaves and,
Yeah, the craft table's not as great.
the clapperboard, the craft. What are we looking at?
There's no crafties. People don't know. They don't know what the rest of the room looks like.
It's magic. Look, the frames look good.
Exactly.
Congratulations, mate. This is amazing.
Thank you, man. I put a lot of time and effort into this, so I'm hoping it goes well.
All to get cancelled on episode 10 because I fuck it up.
Easily.
I can't wait.
We can do that, dude. We can cancel you right now.
I've been cancelled that many times. It kind of goes in reverse. It's It's called a comeback.
Well, there's one of those things. Jimmy Carr said it. He's like, you're not cancelled if you don't stop. He's you're the only. As soon as you give in to everyone going, nah, fuck, cancel him, and you just stop working. He's like, well, then you are cancelled. If you don't, so fucking keep going.
You're cancelled for having an opinion. You're cancelled if you're left, right, green, yellow, brown.
It's just sad, man, the way the world's gone in that.
It is very strange, though. It's like, and you and I are about the same age and probably a bit older, a bit more distinguished. But like, so I'm 39. It's like, I remember a time when you could have an opinion and it was just like, yeah cool, man. Like the neighbor, but now like, and I really noticed it during all that COVID stuff and like families are fucking fighting. It's like Uncle Ron is like, no, you don't hang out with your cousins anymore because of this and that and whatever. It was a wild time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Wild.
And it was so divisive for like shit that was just so obvious. Like you got to wear this mask. If I can smell a fart through this mask, it ain't stopping shit. Yeah. Like, you can't tell me that. They wear them in surgery. Yeah, to stop them spitting into an open cavity. What do you mean?
You know, the saddest thing I saw during COVID, I mean, I had my own sort of struggles with it because it's just as my little boy, his mum and stepdad and younger brother moved up here. So up here is Queensland, everybody.
Yes.
I was down in the putrid Sydney. And so I hadn't seen my son for 4 months. I was FaceTime dad. Obviously, you're FaceTiming every day, but it still sucks, right?
Yeah.
Andrew Bogut, the 7-foot basketball player, calls. He's like, bro, just come up to the border. Yeah. I won't say it's him, but he knows a story of someone who was just riding their bicycle across all the time, right across the border in Coolangatta. So obviously we couldn't take our car across because they check the QR codes. You got the big federal police checking everything. But right behind you, because I was thinking there's going to be this big fence, this security thing or whatever. Nothing. No. It was just like this invisible line, invisible statue at Coolangatta. Yep. So we rented that place. I'll never forget it. I saw this lovely old lady in a wheelchair with a picnic rug with the invisible border. She had her picnic rug folded back towards her on the New South Wales side and her lovely family visiting her on the Queensland side. And then you got idiots like me going, look, one testicle in each state. I didn't do that though because that would be illegal. But you know what I mean? And then people are walking and God, rightfully so, you have these people who live in Coolangatta or live in the Tweed and please look it up for everyone at home. It's like it's like you could live there and you're working in the cafe or vice versa.
Well, they had the when New South Wales, the Premier locked everyone in New South Wales down and Queensland wasn't. It was literally a street. On one side of the street, everyone was locked in their houses and the other side of the street, it was life as usual.
Madness.
It fucking retarded.
Madness. But just all the stuff, it's like, and my mother, God rest her soul, she was a scientist, pathologist, right?
Oh, really?
And I always just found it so fascinating. It's like, you know, the 10 a.m. case announcements. Yeah. My mum fucking front and center waiting for them. I was like, Mum, you're going to find out. Yeah. Like, why do you need to know? And then I was like, Mum, I work in the media. It's like, and all these, like the stats and analytics come out about the most expensive advertising time. Magically, it was at like 10:04, 10:05, like the Super Bowl commercials, the big Pepsi ads and what have you. It's like, someone's making money, you know? It's like start reading between the lines. And now we find out like all the stuff they were saying about, no, it's it'll stop you spreading it. No, it fucking didn't. Like if you're lucky, it'll help you with the symptoms or whatever. But, you know, just all that stuff. But just this polarizing thing of, you know, vaxxed, unvaxxed. It's like, and how people were treating each other.
Yeah.
I reckon there's got to be some people, like, and I just say Uncle, I don't actually have an Uncle Ron.
Yeah.
G'day, Uncle Ron.
Yeah.
I played a character named Ron. But it's like, you know, people are like, no, you got to keep Australia safe. Open up. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But like, it was fascinating to see how many people believe what the news shows us.
Yeah.
And that's scary to me because it's like, you know, you work in this too. It's like advertising, you know, it's like, and the news.
Yeah.
Sorry for people who believe in it. It's like, it's supposed to engage you, not inform you. It's all money. It's all money for their advertisers. I'm not saying everything. I'm not one of these people who's like every single thing you read is bullshit. No, but you do have to understand there's a revenue agenda, and just read between the lines a little bit.
Yes.
You know, just a little bit. Doesn't have to be crazy.
Well, I think up until that point, you know, we didn't really have anything that kind of illustrated that really clearly.
No.
Like until then, people like we just believe the news because that's you know why would they lie to you?
Yeah.
Like what have they got
get
to
the
gain?
morning paper. You watch the 6 o'clock news,
Yep.
and that's it.
Yep. It's
But now the information. Now it's almost like too much. They get these bot farms on Twitter /X or whatever it is, and it's like there's too much almost.
And how do you discern what's legit and what's not? You got to go through 8 different and who's got the time to go through 13
and
different
now
sources.
this AI stuff, which is quite funny. I like it when it's like, you know, LeBron James.
Yeah.
Or someone, and it's just like you could tell, you know, obviously working in this game, you can kind of tell what CGI or AI is or whatever. But it's like, it's funny. People were getting tricked early on.
Yeah.
It's only going to get worse.
Oh, it's going to get way worse.
It's like we're all dead anyway when the microphone turns into a fucking Terminator and stabs you in the throat.
It's coming.
How'd Jake go? Oh,
he's fine. He's gone.
He had a podcast and it fought back. Fuck off.
The podcast fucked him. It was horrendous. It's on YouTube though. You can watch it on Al Jazeera. Fucking great. Oh, dude, what a nightmare. Honestly, I'm surprised we've come out of it the way that we have.
Yeah, well, it's like what's next? It's funny how easy people were manipulated. And I've never looked down my nose at, you know, people's opinion of God, religion, race, their own bodies, especially. Yeah. But it's like, I was like, gee whiz, you know, people are, you know, not dumb, that's the wrong word, but it's like that sheep mentality thing. And that I was just like, it's very interesting time. And so my mother's side, so she was a scientist, but her family were much more like, you know, follow the instruction, And, you know, I've got friends and other family who are a bit more like, hang on, I'm not just going to jab myself in the arm. And though, to be honest with you, so I held off for as long as I could, but I got the jab so I could cross the border to see my son in the end. Because it got to the point where you show your little rat test or whatever and you show your little thing and I could cross the border. I was like, I'm not going to not see him. I was like, listen, I've been young once. My body's been through worse.
Oh, man.
You know, but in saying that, it's like, you see a lot of these reports and what have you, but it just started getting weird. It's like you get this bloke, it's like your man passes away from COVID or something like that. Right. Oh, horrible. Someone's passed away. But then you look into it and the guy's also 130 kilos, smoked a pack a day, drank a bottle of whiskey a day. Yeah. The stuff like that, that's where it's like, okay, there's an agenda for that.
Yeah, hold on. That dude was hit by a bus. He just swabbed positive for COVID as well. It's not COVID. Yeah?
But isn't it funny that like there was no colds around that time?
Yeah, the flu died.
Where
did the flu go?
No one had it. No one had it. And those rat tests, fuck, they were funny. Everyone's scrambling, like the toilet paper stuff, the rat tests. Everything was just like, oh my God.
It's amazing. The rat tests were the best because I know with my work, they'd give you leave if you were COVID positive. The difference thing, if you had symptoms, it came out of your sick leave. If you were asymptomatic, you got special leave, which you got paid a little bit more for. Like they didn't take away some of your shift loading. So people like, but I know some people.
It's like who makes these decisions?
Well, the only proof of it was texting a photo in of the rat test. I know people that just kept their rat test in the freezer and then like, I'm over it. I'll take a week off, take a photo and send it in. Like,
it's like those things you get tricked with the internet. It's a photo of a rat test, but in the reflection, it's some fat guy with his dick out. Just me.
That's the best.
Just me.
Oh, fuck. So your mum was a pathologist.
Yeah, she was. God rest her soul. Passed away at 61 in 2021. Barely drank. So like she'd have to have ice cubes in her wine. Didn't smoke, and cancer does not give a fuck. The one thing my mum was a stress head though, and I think that's interesting. So she would get cold sores. She wasn't a promiscuous lady though. God love you, mum. Yeah, I found that correlation interesting. Yeah. And you start delving into the effects of stress on the body, and that stuff's fascinating to me.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, like, you know, if you know, this is just science. It's not just me making up. If everything in the universe is energy, you know, and if you're vibrating on that level of toxicity, there's medical proof. You know, it's fascinating how it all works.
Yeah,
cortisol levels and all that sort of stuff. It's you got ciggies, cool.
No, yeah, that's ripping darts, mate. Yeah, interesting. I know the frequency thing's quite interesting. I know a friend of mine is a psychologist. She was telling me about a lot about frequencies. I don't know a huge amount, but she was like, you know, when you listen to a song, like every individual person is on a certain vibration frequency wise, and I was like, yeah, okay, righto. She's like, no, think about it. Whenever you listen to a song and there's a note within some songs that come on and it just gives you goosebumps. She's like, that's your frequency, dude. That note that was hit in whatever, could be whatever instrument song, that's what's giving you the goosebumps because you've just hit the same frequency. And that freaked me out.
Hit you right in your notcher.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Not your balls, not your sorry, that's cancelled already. Episode 10. It was good. It was good.
We did 10 episodes.
It was a good 10.
Thanks for coming, fellas.
But like, I think that's the key too. It's like, because I was raised Catholic, you know, I didn't start getting into all this stuff until, probably my 30s. My partner got me into it. With Tony Robbins. And most people know who Tony Robbins is. He's 6'7", big deep voice.
Massive hands.
And that's what kind of got me into it. It's going to remind me of basketball coaches, right? And I never forget, I think it's I'm Not Your Guru is one of his specials on Netflix. And he's straight away, right at the start of the special, he says, is anyone here suicidal? I was like, fuck me.
Yeah, that's the way to
this
start
is
it off.
rough. And it's interesting with their process with people who go to their seminars. They sort of not vet them, but they get information on people. So they kind of got an idea of, you know, where these people are going to be, whatever. And this guy puts his hand up and he just looked like death, this poor bastard, you know. And I forget his circumstances, so I don't want to talk out of my ass. But Tony goes over and he's like, so you want to kill yourself? Right. So if I gave you $1 million right now to give your family, would you do it right now? Right, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, holy shit, this is quite heavy. And he looks down at the guy's shoes and he goes, is it because of your shoes? The guy's like, He goes, because they're fucking red. And the guy, just like you are now, cracks up and his whole physicality changes. It was like, you know, the color came back to his face. Right, so what is that? It was a pattern interruption. And I was like, now I get it. It's not this esoteric, heebie-jeebie sort of woo-woo thing. Don't get me wrong, you know, there's plenty of time for that stuff. But I was like, that's what kind of got me interested, you know, in that sort of world. Because it's like, fuck, it's just patterns, you know? And then you start getting into the vibration and energy thing. You know, and if it's just science. Everything in this universe is energy. It's just moving at a certain pace. Everything, you, me, the molecules in our body, the chairs, the cameras, everybody at home watching this. It's just a level of vibration. And if like attracts like and all that sort of stuff, I don't get into the rabbit hole of that. But it's the fascinating thing, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. I remember you talking to me when we had our sort of first little. Dan's done a bit of mentoring with me to help me on my career because he's way further along than I am. You told me a little bit about NLP and neuro-linguistic programming. How far have you gone down that rabbit hole?
Look, to be honest with you, just understanding the fundamental stuff. So NLP can get quite into the weeds with it. Understanding the fundamental process of the brain. The brain's two primary functions is something that can absolutely change your life. And that the brain's two primary functions are to conserve energy and to keep you safe. So conserving energy, right? Steve Jobs, who invented these lovely mobile phones, but good on you, mate. Yeah. So he usually wore like a plain t-shirt and jeans every single morning. So choice reduction. You know, so if you lay your gym clothes out in the morning, you're more than likely to train, right? As opposed to, well, should I? Might go on the hub.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. But to keep you safe. So that's the interesting part. So the keeping you safe part is like, a horrible example is like people who stay in like abusive relationships, right? Yeah. They would much rather stay in that abusive relationship than go out into the scary dating world or potentially have to tell the family or to get a job because, you know, he or she, they, them, green, yellow, white, blue, kicks the shit out of me. But it's the known, you know, and our brain hates the unknown. And that's usually where a lot of the magic is. right? And that's how, people can, gosh, I've been through this myself with alcohol, like going down the addiction path, right? Because keeping you safe and conserving energy, right? That might be drinking first thing in the morning for someone else to get rid of whatever pain or anxiety you're feeling, right? It's wild.
That's an interesting take on it. I hadn't really considered it.
Well, this is how it occurs. So I'll give a prime example. So my own example, right? So back in the home and away days, it wasn't just like we were on home and away. The guys and the two guys that were playing, my brothers and I, we were instantly thrust into like some of the most popular characters that have ever been on that fucking show, And I don't say that like we hadn't even aired yet. And we're filling out like shopping malls for signings and stuff because of this huge campaign of the River Boys and what have you. And to be honest, people might have thought I was going pretty good with it, but like I was fucking anxious as fuck. Like, and I was in my 20s, as most people are on that show. So I would just get written off on the weekends. And my then partner at the time, like, and most people do that show, but like, and then you lob up Monday and you're good. We're there at 5 a.m. getting our tough stickers put on and whatever. It wasn't like a 4-day bender. It's like normal 20-year-old stuff, right? Yeah. Cut to when, say, I'm going through divorce in the public eye and not seeing my little boy as much. My brain, to conserve energy, right, and to keep me safe, was what's the fastest way to not feel bad? Glug, glug, glug. Yeah. As opposed to knowing what you know now about, like, you could do some box breathing. Yeah. Just another form of meditation for everyone at home. Visualization, breaths, sports, whatever it is. But some people might be sugar. Yeah. Some people, the old term, like, you're addicted to drama. Some people are quite literally fucking addicted to drama because they're addicted, their body is addicted to the neurochemicals released. Yeah. It's like, oh, she's addicted to drama. Yeah, she quite literally is. It's wild, and once you understand those patterns and just that's those simple things, to keep you safe, to conserve energy, then you can start being an observer of it and going, oh, okay, I know what happens if I have that extra glass of wine. If I have that third Tim Tam, I'm probably finishing the packet. I know what happens if I'm, prodding my partner in a way that I know I shouldn't, or whatever. It's just having that fundamental awareness, and then you can get into the rabbit hole of neuroscience and all that sort of stuff. But I just think if we have an understanding that those two primary functions, and the other thing is that 93% of our decision making is habitual. So I'll give you examples. I did this the other day. Those soda stream things? Yes. So you refill the canisters. I've had 2 empty ones in the backseat of my fucking car. But how the dry cleaning, whatever it is. Or have you ever, like, you're supposed to be driving somewhere, but you drive to work? Yeah. You miss the turn off. Yeah. Because it's habitual. It's like it's conserving energy. Yeah. You could probably tie your shoes at night, right? Mm-hmm. Things like that. But that's just because we're just programs, conserving energy, keeping us safe. It's not always the best thing for us too, especially in the acting game. It's like you throw that shit out. And that's the only way to do it in the acting space, is feet to the fire. Yeah. It doesn't mean you're not going to have that moment of shitting yourself, but you're not shitting yourself for 3 hours, 3 days, spiraling and making bad choices. It might be a couple of minutes, then you're like, okay, thank you very much, brain, or whatever it is you're trying to keep me safe. But I'm pushing through this. Fuck off. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I find myself, I don't know if it's got to do with that, but I find myself, if I get like a role or something, I feel like I work better under pressure. I probably don't, but I'm actively at this point trying to force myself to start working on shit earlier. Like the second I get that casting through, I need to sit down and start working. I'm the same, because I leave it until the night before, and then I'm just learning lines.
It used to take me days. I was always putting in tapes late. And this is after Home and Away and I've done movies, because like I said, I'm 39 now, but I think the self-taping thing that actors do, so for everyone at home who doesn't know what that is, you're basically recording yourself auditioning, and you got your reader sort of there and you're auditioning, and especially during COVID, this became a huge fucking thing, right? Yeah. So it's but interestingly, give me, because I had more experience being on set than I had in the audition space, the self-taping space. Anyway, I've been in rooms and with casting directors before and producers. I found myself way better under pressure. It's like, give me a fucking set where, and you and I have been on a set like this together, where it's like you're an hour and a half down, like, let's rock. But then it's just you worrying about your shit, It's like, let's go, let's fucking go. And everyone else is doing their job and everyone's on board. When you're doing it yourself, and I'm sure, like, when you're setting up this stuff, and beautifully done, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Very professional. You're thinking about so much more shit. Yeah. And you get in your own head. And then I would find myself, the longer I left it, the more I'd overthink it. So I now, especially when I get, so obviously there's a lot of dialogue, it's different. if I get an audition for myself, I try not to overthink it. I just like, bang, get it done as fast as possible. Because, you know, in this game, you know, and the climate we're in now, you could do the best audition ever. There's always someone more famous. There's always someone more diverse.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's, not to digress. I did an audition a few months ago with 16 Universal executives.
Yeah.
On Zoom, right?
Yeah.
And I won't say what movie because I want to get sued. But the guy who got my part, right?
Yeah.
Was a guy called Marshawn Lynch, a professional football player from the States, and African American, black.
Must be a fucking weapon actor.
Yeah, you know. But this is the thing. It's like you just laugh because it wasn't like you know, like I would have way preferred one of my mates to get it. But it's like it's just funny. There's some of the stuff where you go, well, I'm not a professional football player.
Yep.
He's I don't know if he's acted before, but good luck to him. And I'm certainly not in that diversity. You know, box. It's like stuff like that happens. You just laugh.
Yeah, you can't be upset at it. I've had the same thing, and it's hard to even really complain about it. When you look like this, when you know. No,
look, I'm like, guy. It's more annoying when your tape goes to where and it either doesn't get seen or whatever. And look, that does unfortunately happen, right?
Well, I've had the opposite where I got told by the director, "You got the role, man. That's great.
Oh shit, went that far.
We'll go to Netflix US.
Yep.
We'll have a deal memo to you on Monday. Agent calls me Monday. Hey, mate, just got a call. Director is in pieces. Really upset. You were the guy.
Yep.
Producers wanted someone Asian.
Yeah.
So they got an Asian guy. But there's another role.
Was he your height? Nah.
No. We got another role though, wearing a mask. So race should be no issue.
Perfect.
Can you do a Zoom audition? Did the Zoom audition with the director?
Was it an Asian mask?
Oh, mate.
Oh, fuck. We cancelled for that?
Yeah,
Sorry,
probably.
Shit.
But immediately,
no,
same thing. And it ended up, they went ethnic again. It's fine. And two of my mates got it, and I'm pumped for them because it turned out great.
I had that awesome for a series up here. And we did kind of this big final callback screen test, right? And they kind of were sending people home as they went. So we had this sort of final 5 members lead cast of this thing. I'll tell you which show it is off air. But and then it's like great, like everyone's like, you know, great hugging, blah blah. Netflix show. There was a production company here that I'd worked with before. And you know, and you kind of get the whispers like, "Oh, we really like you for this one." And then everyone's there and everyone's getting the deal members through. Mine never came through. I'm like, "Oh, this is interesting." Okay. I then found out that they'd cast for my role a guy with like 36 million followers. He was a Latin American actor. He barely speak English. Fucking great looking bloke.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be like this rugged kind of dude.
Yeah.
And he ended up doing scenes with Chris Hemsworth's wife, who also isn't, you know, English is not her first language.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it didn't quite work because it was just like, you could imagine Aussies, they're going, great looking dude, legend, a really nice bloke too by all reports, but 32 million followers. He's this Latin stud icon. But but Netflix said, no, we want, you know, a bit more diversity in there. We think this and blah, blah, blah. And it's a different world now.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's like, from a business standpoint, I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
32 million, that's 32 million pairs of eyes that are going to see and want to watch whatever that dude's in. Like I get it. But
I felt like I should have been 32 million and one. I think I should have followed him. I felt left out. I was like, fuck.
I was following him. I unfollowed him because they overshot you.
I was like, what a stud. Yeah. Good on you, mate. But then the show, I mean, not that I'm petty, but it got cancelled. Wrong cast. No, no, but like, it's just like, the one thing, especially in our land, right? Like, again, I think just cast the best actor for the role, and it can't, like, and Andrew Bogut said something like this about this whole thing. I think he put it so well. It's like, there shouldn't be a quota on outcome. There should be a quota on opportunity, which I fucking love. It's like, everyone does deserve a crack, you know?
Quality of opportunity.
But when it gets silly, it's like, would in this sort of gritty drama, would a black guy, a redheaded white person, an Asian person, would they all be friends really? Yeah. Would they? I'm not saying they can't. Yeah. Because I've got, my best mates, you know, very, very diverse. Like I've got one of my best mates is Asian, and he puts on different accents according to which business meeting he's doing. If he's talking to his Chinese colleagues, he puts on the accent. Here, his name's Eric. Oh, g'day, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not from that space at all. But I'm just like, when the realism gets taken out of it, I'm like, you know, it feels like I think we've gone a little bit too far now. Like maybe a step back, and then we'll go for it. But it is great to see people getting opportunities, and all you can do is laugh.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marshall.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure
I can't wait to
he'll
see
do a
it.
great job.
I
He'll
can't
do
wait
a
to see
fine
it.
job.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. I'm waiting to hear back from a casting I put in for, and I know how they're going to think of it. And I know it's just a supporting role. The lead looks like me. I'm like, I know I've done a good audition.
Yeah.
I really hope it. But if I was casting it, it's a slightly antagonistic role.
Yep.
I know I would pick someone of a different color.
Well, I had
to go
the opposite of that. Was for a show up here, and I was getting reports. It's like your tape's the favorite, blah 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 blah. But in season 1, there's a bit more of a diverse cast for all the leads that carried through, but they're all white now. So it was like a real bogan Aussie mean sort of dude. And they went diverse with it for the bogan Aussie mean dude. So interesting choice, to be honest with you, because we think white guy. Yeah. Or whatever, but it's it's a fascinating time.
Yeah,
and the to all the actors out there, you just got let that shit go.
Oh, yeah,
that's one thing me at 39 is so much better at now. I used to take it real fucking personally because I'd attack it like an athlete, you know. And coming from a good sporting background, you can affect change by whether you're running faster, setting a screen harder, especially in basketball. There's 5 dudes, but whatever sport, usually if especially if you change the collective energy of the team, you can affect change. Individually, especially in basketball, you certainly can. In this game, it doesn't matter. You could do the best tape ever. Yeah. There's always someone more famous. There's always someone more famous. Yeah. It's got more followers. See the recent Bad Boys movie. Like cameos used to be like you get the odd rapper, like Ja Rule would pop up in Fast and Furious.
And you'd be like,
You're right. Now it's influencers.
Yeah.
You watch the last Bad Boys movie, and there's all these like YouTubers and stuff and TikTokers and
Well, it makes sense to a certain degree because they are. That is the way society's gone.
And that's how it's consumed.
Yes.
Most people consume, like, especially the younger ones, they consume it on like tablets, if not iPhones. Yeah. It's a wild word. I don't do TikTok. I don't do Snapchat.
Yeah.
I drew the line at Snapchat. I was like, this can be very bad for a lot of people.
100%
I was like, I need to stop.
Yeah. I have it. I don't use it. I use TikTok. I do. I often come in before I get someone on, and I sit on TikTok live for about 45 minutes.
Get your ass out?
Yeah, mostly my balls. That's good. I've been banned a few times. I have to create new
cancelled,
but yeah.
That's why you got a podcast.
Yeah. No, it just gets the
black airwaves.
Gets the conversation. Conversation from juices flowing. So I get to just interact with random people and talk shit. It just gets me a little bit more.
And do you don't get yourself in trouble? We can cut this bit out. Yeah. Do you do dating apps?
Yeah, I've got them. I honestly, I don't talk to people though. I'm not good at that. I'm just not good. I've got no game.
Because now
my Riz, as the kids say, is terrible. I'm useless.
That's charisma.
Is it?
Okay, no. So I thought it was something else.
Yeah, I thought it was
beginning
just
with J. Riz. And then it's like, no, just charisma. Charisma. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got heaps to the other one.
I guess my Catholic school upbringing has failed me again. I was just like, oh shit, a brick.
Yeah.
But no, so those things I remember. And then so when my parents split up and mum was talking about online dating, it's like, matchmaker or whatever it is. And obviously all my gay mates would always talk about Grindr, which seemed a little bit more about thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Good prop. But now there's heaps, and it's kind of more, it's not as taboo, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I still don't open it up in public.
I
still wait till I'm on my car by myself.
I got a text. She knows who she is. From one of your agent's actors. She sent me a text with me in it from a guy's profile picture on, is it called Hinge?
Yeah.
Hinge.
Nice.
Minge.
I'm yet to get
and
some fake
it's
ones.
me with this bloke, Irish bloke, and it's like I've got my arm around him, and he wanted to have a little snap, and he had it on the dating profile. So, well, you better give him one.
Get on it.
Come on.
That's hilarious.
Hinge, put it out. No, don't do that. Fuck, cancel.
No.
But
we're 27
just
minutes
because
in.
someone has a photo with me, I'm joking. Don't aggregate. I'm joking, please. But it's like, I just thought it was funny that he had the photo up, like it was going to get him a little extra cuddle. Good on him.
Well, everyone's getting fake profiles made of themselves. I'm getting none. Nobody's doing fake OnlyFans of me.
I've had a lot.
No one.
I got a horrible story about that. I was at the Kudos Bank Arena where the Sydney Kings play, going the fucking Kings. And I go to get, I think it was Archie some chips, right? Because of course, where we're sitting, it's like, you can get your cheese ball or some wine.
Nice.
Archie goes, can I have a hot dog and some chips? Yes, I know. So I walk up to get him some chips. And this lovely lady behind the bar doing food service burst into fucking tears. And I wish I could tell you that was the first time, but Home and Away is a very popular show. It's happened a little bit. But this lovely young lady bursts into tears and runs behind the sort of service area. And the manager comes out and says, "Oh, mate, you know, like I work on television." You know, it's like,
thanks, mate.
Thanks, loser. Scram. You know, you're at a basketball game. No one cares. Pretty boy, piss off. Put your blush on. And I said, "Look, do you want to go and like get a photo with her or whatever? It's fine. I'm so sorry to disturb because they're busy. It's halftime." And he goes, "Oh no, she's actually had a really rough trot. She's been catfished." And this is one of the first. And I was like, I'd kind of heard of this catfishing thing. And it turned out this young lady had given like almost 60 grand Australian to someone that was masquerading as me, and like was like on a phone, like was about to get on the plane to Dallas. And her family sort of, so she had intellectual disabilities. I'm obviously not going to share any more about her name or whatever, but her family luckily cottoned onto it. And, you know, but it's like 60 grand, dude. You know, and it's like, and she showed me, I eventually got the chance to have a chat to her. She was lovely. And she showed me like the WhatsApp background and it was like my face, you know, like on WhatsApp, mine's just plain, but you can put like a photo in the background of the chat. You know about it, don't you? You dirty bastard. Yeah. Special photos.
I've also got a photo of Dan on mine.
Special photo. And I'm looking at it going, it doesn't even sound like me.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. And my brother's, my lovely brother Mitch, he's got Asperger's, so he's on the spectrum. There's a part of his brain that isn't great with intuition.
Yeah.
You know, so we actually had something with him not long ago. He doesn't mind me talking about this stuff that like it was close, you know, almost getting extorted sort of thing. And it's like, it's just, you just fuck people are evil, man. Like, but like that's not to digress too far, but it was like having that, I was just like, so obviously made a fuss about it. And I went back and saw her every game I was at after, went and said g'day to her and all that sort of stuff. But I'm like, it's just wild, the stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
And scammers are good, man. It's like
the
stuff that's going on like now, it's not just like you get the dodgy phone call. It'll be a text with your address in it, hey, or the Australian Taxation Office. It sounds pretty legit. You'll get stuff from, you know, was called the RTA in New South Wales. It's like, you know, or whatever, Transport Queensland or whatever it is. It's just, you know, and it's hard enough, especially for our pensioners, to stay on top of it. You know, and because they're used to doing paper, paying bills, and now everything's got QR codes and, you know, and apps and stuff.
We wait till they add AI in and then they're getting FaceTime AI filters and they're FaceTiming you. Like, I don't believe it's you. Mum, I need you to send me 60 grand. No, that's not my daughter. And then they FaceTime me and they FaceTime you and it's your daughter. Like, what are you going to do? Like, there goes your pension. You're giving it to this random Somalian dude.
Yeah.
It's not all Somalians. It could be any person.
Cancel. Hey, it wasn't my fault this time.
Yeah. That's only one for me.
Fuck
yes. You cancelled us 5 times.
We should have like a little score. I'd actually be proud if I got someone else's podcast.
It'd be, look, I'll probably be my own undoing, to be honest. I need to learn to keep my mouth shut a little bit, but that's all right.
That's what it said to me in Catholic school. Fuck again. Done it again.
So your parents divorced. When did that happen?
Oh, that happened. God, this is quite funny. So my first lead was a lovely show called Power Rangers. Look,
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were on Power Rangers.
Spandex. I was the Black Ranger, mate.
There you go.
Man, eh?
Still rocking it.
Still ready.
Same shirt, actually.
If any rubber monsters come through that door, I'm kicking them in the fucking face. Yes, out of drama school. And that was so they shoot that in New Zealand, the series, every year because it's obviously cheap for Americans to come here and shoot stuff. Thanks, guys. But we got paid exponentially more money than we get here or in New Zealand. But we got this whole like boot camp. You know, you go in there and it's 3 weeks it's called Koichi camp. So the second unit director, so the Japanese series is a year ahead of the American one. So they come over here with a bunch of the footage of the guys in the suits and all sorts of stuff. And then we shoot additional footage with the suits and then we'll shoot obviously the drama element. But it was the best experience of my life. Like the stuff, and you've seen me on set, the stuff I learned in that 3-week camp. And then because it was a car theme, I got to drive all this hotted up old Firebird and all that sort of stuff. The stuff I learned there, people are like, well, did you go to stunt school? I was like, nah, Power Rangers, motherfucker. You know, it's like, hey, it's like, you know, like some of the stuff that you did on that show, it's like you get this on the job training. Yeah. You know, and it's like, it was fucking amazing. And to see the hierarchy of like the Japanese stunt teams. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's just one thing where the dude felt like this Japanese guy. I'll never forget it. So he gets kicked in the chest, and I think he acts like the Steadicam guy or the hit was slightly harder when we went for it, and he bumps into the Steadicam and falls off this platform, does his ankle, like mincemeat, like the one I sent you a photo of mine, and like nothing. The guy's just there, like he kind of just hobbles out. No one goes to help him.
Yeah,
and he's just out there. He's out there fucking just on the darts. Right?
Smokes.
No one cares. If that happened to like me or one of the big Aussie burly guys, right?
Big
Give me the fucking phone. I gotta call the missus. Go fucking pick the kid. It was unreal. And the hierarchy of it, the more experienced guys would double the Power Rangers, and the younger guys would be like the putties or the henchmen, kind of thing. But just like the director says something, and they're running to do it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. They're a different culture.
Different. And I did a series called The Silent Service for Amazon. It was a co-pro between the Japanese Amazon Japan, speak English, Daniel, and the American one. And it was so funny because we're like Aussies, just sitting and a Canadian on there as well, and a Kiwi. And we're doing this. And just to watch the American producers and the American brass talk to like Amazon Japan, because they're like, the lights are off, there's cords everywhere over there. They don't care. And they're sprinting to like grab the stunt mats and do stuff. The Americans obviously a bit more was legal. They're worried about getting sued. And just watching that as an Aussie going, oh, he's angry. Yeah. It's like when your parents fight. Yeah. It was great. Yeah. It was an amazing experience, but it was just, I learnt so much on that set. Yeah. Like, and just because it's every day. So you got the 3-week camp, but then you got like, we had, I think it was like 4.5 months, and then you break for Christmas and you come back. And just learning how to fall safely on concrete. Yeah. It's like, there's no pads. No, it's not fun, but like you can do it safely, doing shoulder rolls. And half the time it's like where are you placing your head? Like if you're getting pushed against the wall and your head's back, your skull's hitting the wall, chin forward, you can take that on your back. I'm not saying it's overly fun, getting slammed against the wall, but your back can take a hell of a mine can because it's huge. No,
chuck a back pad on for those at home. Chuck a back pad on.
I mean, but you know what I mean. It's like it's half of it is just being able to keep yourself and stunties safe, which as you saw on set, that's paramount for me. It's like some actors, it's like, and they shall remain nameless. But you hear stories of people like seeing stunt performers as less than and kicking the fuck out of them. But then you hear the good stories of actors shall remain nameless. On Xena and Hercules, one actor was getting a bit fired up, so they just leaned over. Don't roll on this one, boys, and they kicked. It's like, okay, don't do that again.
Yeah,
you know, please.
Yeah. What was there was a guy on the guy who played Gimli in Lord of the Rings. Is like it's renowned for him refusing to learn choreo. They're like, what are we going to do for this fight scene? He's like, well, who's running at me? You guys are the stunt guys. I'm just going to hit you. It's like, what? They just come in and he just smash them, and that was it. They just have to take the hits. Yeah.
Well, I think now, especially with all the post-production stuff and whatever, and how they speed things up, it's like it's more of a choreographed dance than it is anything. And you know, and with all the axis and the angles and stuff, it's like, and like a proper punch you wouldn't see because it's more of a straight line. Yeah. Where in films, it's like everyone's arms are out here, and otherwise you wouldn't see it. You know. And it's way more loaded up and stuff, but it's it's like when you watch what Keanu's able to achieve, and he had a great quote. I'm gonna fuck it up, but it's like he said, "I don't do stunts. I do action or something like that." It was something weird, but it was just like he's very aware of how to perform action and what have you. But it's like these are trained fucking professionals. Yeah. Man.
I asked Keir, I was working with Keir last night actually. I asked him a while ago. I did his rigging courses last year or the year before, and I was like, he's been on everything from Casino Royale to John Wick 4. He's done fucking everything. He's for those who don't know the name in the industry, he is world known within the industry. I asked him, I was like, who's the best you've worked with? And he said, hands down, Keanu. Yeah. He said, that man is like a savant. He goes, you can show him a 20-beat fight scene twice, and he'll do it almost flawlessly, and then he'll go off and do it about his day, and he'll remember it 3 months later when we've got to shoot it. Like
the one thing I wish we had more reverence for here is respecting stunt performers and their rehearsal time.
Yeah,
and that's having done, you know, I've done American projects, I've done Australian projects, And quite often the stunt rehearsal time in the space, in the set, is the first thing to go because it's like every minute on set is important. And I understand that. But even when, like for the project you and I worked on together, it's like, can we just grab the studio space next door just to step through? And it's like, but you can't because we're reshooting this or whatever. And it's like, the one thing I like, they waste a lot of time and money on the big American stuff. Fuck, trust me, they do. And it's like, but the one thing, having the time to have days in just a rehearsal space, right, with just gym mats, so you can start getting that the neural pathways can be firing and wiring. Cool. Obviously, it all fucking changes when you get to set anyway, right? It's like blocking a normal scene.
Yes.
So then you get in there and it's like, okay, this, but at least you've got that, so you're not freaking out about it. It's when it's like, okay, stunt team, we've got a fight scene, go. Yeah, which I'm sure you've had before. It's like, okay, well then you better hope the actor's got fucking experience. You better hope the stunties have experience. And then like you said, the rigging's a whole different thing. It's not just like what people at home don't see. It's not just guys shooting guns and taking falls and taking rides and riding horses or whatever. It's all the wires. It's all that rigging. You could fucking die if your rigging is done wrong because it goes around someone's neck, you know? But I've seen people like arms go purple and stuff like that. And that happens on like safe sets, but you don't know. Full speed, it, naturally ratchets up. When people call action, you get the shot of adrenaline and off you go. So the last thing you need is some actor who's had a little too much tren going nuts.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's a fucking... Even that, like, it also happens as well, like they prefer or prioritize the drama over, and like the lines and the dialogue over the choreographed fight scene. So they go, in the script, there's this epic fight scene, and then they cut it away. Like the stunties go and they work this. It's going to look fucking sick. Everyone's going to love this when they shoot it. And then you get to set and they're like, just throw 2 punches, go down, and we'll just move on.
That's always the fight on, like, say, Power Rangers is a good example. Where we had and with American stuff, quite often they've got second unit or B unit, which is usually your action unit, right, for everyone at home. And it was always a fight, especially with Power Rangers. It's like there would always be so Koichi was the guy's name. He's like an institution. He would be always fighting to get more action in, and then obviously the actors, and the writers and producers would always want more drama, especially with the American one. Yeah. But for a lot of Australian stuff, there isn't a second unit, because quite often there'll be a whole separate second unit director. So it won't just be, Spielberg directing, he'll do all his stuff, but there'll be quite literally a second unit sort of director, and you'll go and shoot different stuff for the whole action stuff.
And
too.
Splinter unit as well.
Splinter unit. Now there's, G unit.
Yep. Yeah. And a lot of time, people at home probably aren't going to know, is a lot of time the second unit director is... a lot of the time, the stunt coordinator will take over second unit. So the main, Wahlberg or Dan goes off and keeps doing their dialogue, and then their stunt doubles come in and we film all the stuff that's stunty around it, behind that. And then you have Splinter, which goes off with a little handheld and gets the boot hitting the twig in the bushes, or the fucking hand picking up that can of Coke. It's like
the amount of times I've done a movie and gone, oh, I didn't remember doing that. It'd be like it'd be a mate of mine. I watched a movie of mine the other day. Big g'day to John Reynolds. He ended up doing
him last night.
Yeah, Big John.
Yeah,
and I was just
he's
like,
a legend.
John's a little bit bigger than I am. His nickname's Big John. He's about 6'2", big guy. But like, he went and did some B-roll for a movie we were just in together called One. Yeah. Where I played sort of the last man on earth, and it's like, and I can tell it's like that's John's walk.
Yeah.
That's Big John. That's Big John. There's me.
He's great.
But he did so much stuff because this is during COVID. They did a lot of stuff. So John went and did a whole bunch. I was like, well, at least I'm going to be fucking a bit taller.
He'll look awesome.
He's an ex-bodybuilder. So I was like, thanks, Big John. And he's actually in the movie as well, which is fantastic. Yeah. But it's great. It's such a funny world. Such a funny world.
Yeah. How did you get into acting? Where did that start for you?
Since the womb. I was an artist. No. You'll laugh. It's because of detention.
Yeah, right.
You're shocked to hear that.
I didn't think that would be the correlation. I knew you'd be in detention.
No, so I did it in primary school just because every kid did. I always liked it, but it wasn't really my sort of thing. And then I kind of hit puberty, and I was just massively into sport. So high school for me was like sport. So in fact, I won the sports award in year 12 or whatever it was. Sports captain, all that sort of stuff. I just loved it. Anything, but I was like in year 7, I was coming last. But obviously I hit puberty and kind of figured it out. I know your body kind of, I don't know if you ever had it.
No, I'm still waiting for puberty.
Yeah.
One day.
Just got one curly one.
Yeah.
But you know how like there's some kids who it's like they're kind of late bloomers, right? They're kind of gangly or whatever. Like
That was me.
yeah, I kind of shut up early, but I was like, I hadn't figured my stuff out yet. But I digress. But I went overseas on a basketball tour. You know, the sports teams can go on a tour. So we were playing basketball in the US and Canada. And what I got up to on that tour is another podcast. That's another podcast.
That's cancellation number
But
6.
I spoke to my cousin, Michael. So he'd joined an extras agency, right? I think it was called PGs or something in Sydney. And he'd done like a bunch of extra work, but he did like a chip commercial. And he's like, yeah, man, for extra work, it was like $30 an hour, blah, 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 blah. You get fed. There's girls. I'm like, say less. Say less. You know,
you're overselling it.
Because, you know, I'm 39 now. Back then when I was like 18, 19, it was just like, hang on a minute. Like if I go and work in a bar or a cafe or a Pizza Hut, it's like $12 an hour. It's like, I get $30 an hour.
Yeah.
You get it. And there's chicks, you know, like as a young man, it's like, go for it, you know? That's why I turn up and it was funny enough, it was Home and Away. You know, this is when Chris Hemsworth and Isabel Lucas were on the show.
She's nice.
She's divine. And then,
lovely.
you know, cut to a few years later, I'm actually the lead of a rom-com with her, Chasing Comets, you know?
Yeah.
But from that day, I kind of felt in love with it. And the reason was because they were so lovely. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like, you know, there are some actors who won't even look extras in the eye. And I'm the opposite. I'm like, how you going? You know,
what's going
how's the kids? You know, like, I'm annoying. Extras, it's someone to fuck off anytime you want. Background artists, I should say. Yeah. But they were so lovely. And I just kind of fell in love with it from there. And you start building on it. I booked a few ads back to back. And I booked a guest role on Home and Away, playing a character called Reuben Humphreys. They give all the guest characters the good names.
Yeah, that's sick.
Reuben,
you should get that tattoo.
Reuben Humphreys. But that was my first sort of foray into it. But from that, I managed to get a scholarship to NIDA. And that's when I started really getting into it. You know what I mean? And that was kind of the start. And coming out of there, then booking Power Rangers kind of off the back of that, and then coming out, that was kind of like, oh, fuck, this is my job.
Yeah.
Sick, you know, like, and I kind of fell into it backwards. And then obviously, so I booked a few little guesties after that. And then Home and Away was obviously sort of the big one. But it was the only thing I'd done that it didn't feel like a job. And sometimes, as you know, I try now to really connect with that sort of inner child that fell in love with me. I listen to the Jurassic Park soundtrack almost every day because there's some part of me that remembers hearing that the first time, and it connects me to that dreamer, that inner child. And you know, even taking my own son on set to be an extra on Mortal Kombat or whatever it was down here at Movie World, I kind of like just watching him for the first time, seeing a big studio. Sometimes we forget, you know, that it's a pretty fucking cool job. Like, we're not on roofs, you know, we're not saving lives, we're playing make-believe. And obviously, you know, when it's your career, it is a job, of course, professional and what have you. But yeah, it's nice to connect to that inner child sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. What was NIDA like?
Oh, fuck, you'll laugh. I'm going to sum it up like this. My core memory of it, don't get me wrong, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Just get a little cough break.
I don't have one of those Joe Rogan buttons yet. So
Winnie Reds.
It's full noise coughing on the Life Live
Winnie
podcast.
Reds. Oh, I'll quit smoking one day when they don't make them anymore. Some night are up like this. It's really great. Learn a lot of good skills there. The thing that you're not supposed to audition. Supposed to audition because you're not ready.
Yeah.
You're not ready. Listen, you can do all the fucking courses you want. There is no experience like life experience.
Yeah.
And being on set, on the job stuff. But I get it. I'm not, you know, Dan Ewing bashes NIDA.
Yeah. That's what I'm labeling this episode.
Cancel. Just over cancel. Fuck episode 10 or 11. There was a particular actress on there. So anyway, I book a commercial and I had to take a day off, right? Which is very frowned upon, and especially because I was on a scholarship and blah, 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 blah. Sounds like a wanker thing. I literally had to write this big thing. It was one of my best emails I've ever written, by the way.
Nice.
My scholarship email. Thanks very much, NIDA. Appreciate you. But anyway, so I booked this commercial, and at the time it was like 12 grand. And like, so that's a lot of money, for a young man, not living at home. You got bills to pay, and like I was never given cars or anything like that. My parents worked very hard. I'm one of four. There was no like, here you go, here's your rent apartment. It wasn't that, so I had to sort of fend for myself a bit. But I booked this commercial. I'll never forget it. Like one particular actress, she gave me a lot of stick about it. It's like, oh, she's not serious. It was like there's a lot of whispering about it, not serious and da da da. Anyway, so I come back, this 12 grand. Magically, this 12 grand turned into about 60 because it went international.
Oh, lovely.
They're sad, right? And it was during the home and away, peak home and away, and I walked past this cafe and here's this actor working, and I'm not petty, right? Yeah. I'm not petty.
But
I didn't say shit.
Petty.
But I really I needed a long black that day. Yeah. No, actually that time was probably a mocha because I could still have milk and sugar. But it was just so funny. Like I was ordering this thing and I was like, fuck, she's such a bitch to me. Yeah. Like, and then here she is working, it's like I'm all about taking risks, you're right? I got to be really clear. I didn't go to that cafe just because of her. It was a cafe in Darlinghurst near my best mate's place.
100% did.
No, but I'm not going to lie. That villain arc began then. No, I wasn't ashamed when she said, "Oh, you're doing really well," and then she apologized for treating me the way she, but she was like, look, she's a real artist type and whatever. But I'm like, darling, it's 12 grand. The Honda Civic's fucking dying on me. I've got to, I've got to like do almost a whole engine rebuild and brakes. This rego's current past due, and all that sort of stuff. But it is funny that sort of what we call the wanky actor sort of thing, the looking down your nose thing at each other. But no, she was like, we've actually saw each other since, and it was a completely different thing. But it was interesting. Long black, please.
She's still in the business?
She is. She's actually gone on to has done a lot of work. She's extremely talented.
Yeah.
But I was just like, the beef I was getting, like I actually couldn't believe it because I was just like, it was the first time I'd kind of, because I was just a kid from the Northern Beaches of Sydney, right? So it was more about sport and whatever. So I'm like, it's 12 grand. I've got to figure out a way to and this will really help me out and all that sort of stuff. It's like, you're taking a day off from the craft. I'm like, no, I'm actually doing the craft, but like I'm getting paid to do it. You know, it's like just gonna get a Mars bar, walk around the back of Broadway shopping center and stuff. But when it went international, it was just like, and there's rollovers happen. It's like actors, like we live for that stuff. It's like, sweet, my rent's taken care of for fucking 3 months or whatever it is. I'm there like stoked. This is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh, you're taking your day off. No.
Yeah, it's a funny thing that they have that rule. You're not supposed to work. You're supposed to audition.
I get it because it's quality control for them. I understand.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like it feels like it's a little dated.
Yeah, because I know a friend of mine was at NIDA and then he landed a role on a series and they were like, well, you can't do it. And he's like, oh, no, I can't do this.
I'll be back.
Yeah, and he left. And he hasn't gone back.
Yeah.
And he's doing all right.
It's I get it. I actually get it. Like it's fine, but like, all right. Have I told you the Apple Man story?
No.
Fuck. Apple Man. Okay, so we're on home and away. There's me and my three brothers, so Steve Peacock and Lincoln Eunice, and this bloke he's playing like a guest antagonist, right? Early on in our thing, and this dude, never forget it. He so we do the rehearsal. It's all good. He's got to be a bit of a tough guy and whatever, and action. So take one. This dude says his line out of his back pocket. He pulls an apple, bites the apple, spits the apple on the ground. I was like, as he's saying it, director comes out and he's just like looking at him. He's like, "Lose the apple, son." Just goes back, like it's like out of nowhere. What? Very trained actor, and then you'd have other ones. This lovely actress, she was a beautiful actress, but one of her first days, so she had to come in, in the diner scenes and Home and Away, come in, order the coffee from Marilyn, and do the old double take. And the River Boys are over there. She comes and talks to us, right? You see that double take? It's a brilliant one.
Yeah,
teach you that. So after every single like take or rehearsal, she'd go and stand in the corner and do a fucking 12 steps or whatever. Yeah. Good. Like fine. I'm all for those that. But then the crew are there going, we're an hour down already, love, Yeah. But it's like at some point it's like, read the room, you're on set. There's like you're just ordering the latte off Marilyn. Just order the latte.
Yeah.
Go and do all that stuff later. And I say that like the crew on Home and Away are amazing. When there's proper emotional scenes, which are a lot of, and I did a lot of them, they give you all the time in the world. When it's like ordering the latte from Marilyn, and then we'll just order it because then we're going to reset cameras and you're going to be over here for the next 3 pages of dialogue. You know, just order the latte. You don't need to stand in the corner. But people learn that quite quick. You know, you got to you pick your moments of that stuff because there is such a thing as overthinking.
Yeah, well, that's where I get caught up because I've not obviously done NOD or anything.
Did you order the latte of Marilyn?
I did not. No, they never.
Marilyn would love you to order a latte.
But I get caught up and I'm not sure how much of like the process or whatever you want to call it. Some of it just sounds wanky to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like you're overcomplicating it to seem like you're super intellectual about something, but realistically it is just ordering the latte. You know what I mean? Like you're adding shit to it to kind of put a barrier between you and the commoners who can't do acting. Like,
I always tell actors it's like, don't shut off your instincts. You know, or your natural thing. You know, it's like I look at you with a military background. Don't turn that shit off because that's special. You know, it's like people can't do that. You know, but sometimes we try to square peg round hole as actors. It's like don't lose your edge, which I think is it's so important because we do because it's like because we want the job, we need those sort of lower vibrations as opposed to it's like let's rock, baby. This is my version of it. If you don't like it. Cool, it's fine.
Yeah. I think a lot of that in Australia, sorry, my cough time.
Have I made you sick?
No, I've got AIDS. Thanks, bro.
Leprosy?
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I'm bleeding.
It's probably my fault. I went to Sydney for a week. I've been sick in 2 years. I went to Sydney for a week and I come back.
Yeah, it's full of it. It's full of it.
Disease Sydney people.
Oh, what was I going to say?
Dan Ewing slags off Sydney.
What was I going to say? I had a fucking point and you've derailed. What were we saying?
What were you saying?
Fuck.
You overthink it? No?
No.
Someone in the chat.
It's gone. It's gone. Yeah, someone. Let's move on. I've completely forgotten. So what's your process then? You get a casting. You give.
The process. It's like the looking down the nose thing you were talking about.
Yeah, but I can't remember. I had a different tangent. I was going to go on with that.
We love a tangent. My process.
I've lost.
It was actually funny. We talked about this earlier. It's like sometimes I'll get, and this is how my wiring was for a long time. I'll get a script, brief, or whatever it is, and my mind, as opposed to thinking of all the reasons why I'd be great at this, it goes to that like a few seconds of all the reasons why I won't get it, even if I crush the tape or whatever. Because in our game, right, like I said, there's always someone more famous. There's always a Denzel, or Brad Pitt, or a TikTok someone. Or blah,
I do
blah,
the
blah.
same thing.
Yeah,
every time.
And I think that's my theory is that's just the brain trying to keep you safe.
Protecting, yes.
Right. So that's because it's the fear of rejection,
yep.
Fear of the unknown. Because even though you can deal with, and obviously I deal with it probably better than you would at your stage of your career, others. But like, I was a dick.
Yeah.
It's like, so that Marshall Lynch thing I was telling you about just before, it's like, there were things where it's like, I took it so fucking personally.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that it probably coincided with me getting to my 30s, going through a marriage breakdown and what have you, and everything was kind of, so tense with it. There's so much other stuff. As long as you do a great audition or a great meeting or a great tape, that is all you can do. Right? I mean, I think it sucks for actors when, I don't know what's worse. Sometimes it's like, and my mind changes on this all the time. Like you do a great tape and just nothing. You're like, I fucking crushed that. My agent's like, this is the best tape you've ever done or whatever. And just donuts. Sometimes you do. I've had this happen plenty of times. Mediocre tapes. It's like, I kind of fucking phone that one in.
Yeah.
And then it's like, the director wants to meet you tomorrow. You have that.
Yeah.
But is it better to have the zero interest, or is it better to get really close, where you start thinking, and especially in my case, I've got a fiance, a beautiful baby girl, and my son with my ex. It's like, and we're all up here in Brisbane. It's like, oh shit, if I book this, we've got to think about, are they going to come over? And you start thinking about it, you start dreaming about it. And obviously, whether you believe in manifestation or visualization or whatever it is, you start seeing yourself in that and whatever. But also if you do that, do you get more disappointed? It's a tough tightrope to walk.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But long story short, my process, is I try to not get into like any acting book or course I've done. Initially, I try to go with what my instincts feel first and foremost, and then I'll start doing a little bit of that. So if I don't connect with it right away, I'll start doing a bit more. I'll go more traditional stuff. I'll start looking up old textbooks or not textbooks. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. But then I start sort of looking deeper into what show are we making? I always say this to young actors. So young actors, I say it like I'm fucking old. What show are we making? For example, I was a lead antagonist of a Paramount movie called Love and Monsters. Teen action adventure with Dylan O'Brien, who's in the Maze Runner movies and what have you. So are we making that, or are we making True Detective season 1, or some sort of gritty thing? It's really important to know what show you're making because tone is huge. And a lot of time as actors, you get like 3 sentences, so there could be just X amount of lines, but you may not get a lot of exposition or an idea of what the character's supposed to be. So by looking at what network it's on, what movie, I'm not saying fucking stalk the director and look at every single thing he's done because people do different stuff, but it's what show are we making? What's the tone is a really important thing. Is it theater? Where we're talking I work with theater actors and we're doing a tape where the camera's sort of, a meter this camera away, which is like maybe 2 meters, if that. And they're fucking yelling at me. I'm like, yo, it's a close up. It's right here. Right here, bro. The microphone is like a foot from your head. It's a very different beast. And you don't know that because great actors, they make it seem seamless. But you'll for everyone at home, you'll see like Denzel whispering, but the other character will be all the way over there. But because it's on a close up, he's not going to be screaming. You know what I mean? Unless it's training day. But that was fucking sick.
Are you a script writer? You write all over your scripts or not?
Oh yeah, I like to scribble. I can't. When actors started bringing iPads and stuff for scripts, and obviously you can write. I like to hold it and scribble on it. And gosh, by the time we get to performance, especially with a film, it'll have like a couple of dots of coffee, some red wine, some hopes and dreams. Cancelled. Some hopes and dreams on it because I like to feel like it's been a part of me for a while. Like, and I'll do stuff like, especially for auditions. I like you go on the walker or the treadmill walker at the gym, and I'll have say it's 2 pages in front of me. And I'll have the other character's lines recorded on my phone, whether it's my voice or a fellow actor's voice or my partner's voice, recorded. So, if my character's speaking first, I would obviously go silent, but say it in my head, tap them on the shoulder and record their lines, blah, 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 same. It stops some poor bastard having to read lines with you, which is fucking boring. But I'll put it on the treadmill. Why do I do that? Because I'll say, right, say it's 2 scenes. I'm doing half an hour on each scene or 20 minutes on each scene. Because all your nervous energy, your kinetic energy is going into the treadmill because your brain's going, if I fall backwards, I die. So all that nervous energy and bullshit, it's put through your feet into the treadmill and you're just walking and it goes in amazingly. You know? Little tricks, giving away too much.
Yeah, I do.
Patreon?
I do a similar thing. I'll walk. I try not to hold it. I remember learning from an acting teacher earlier not to hold it because she's like, you then create like a neural pathway of having something in your head.
Yeah.
And then if you get into the casting and you don't have
and you can't hold your dick on set.
Yeah, you can't remember it.
Cancelled.
It's too thin anyway.
It's like,
it's thin in the paper. It's terrible.
Jacob, if you're gonna get it out,
it's terrible.
At least have something. No, I when I was younger, I used to like dribble a basketball. A lot. So I'd do that and say the lines. Anything that just makes it natural. And I just think people they don't want to see actors acting. They want to see people having a conversation. Yeah. And that's what I would rather mumble a line and say it under my breath and make it real and have the soundy going. I was like, I'm fucking acting here, mate. Yeah. Fuck your sound. Then it to be, like theatre or something. I've always just loved Tom Hardy in particular is my favourite actor. Just the way he can sort of mumble stuff and get it across and whatever, because that's how people talk. Yeah. And it's a fine line. Obviously, everything's different. Like I said, what show are we making? But you watch stuff and I'm like, oof.
Yeah. He is phenomenal. Fuck, he's amazing.
No, he's amazing. And he mumbles half his shit. Yeah. And it's, but I just love that. Some people don't. Some people are more traditional. They want to see you act, project your lines and blah, blah, blah. But I love the subtleties of it.
Yeah. So what kind of stuff are you writing in a script? Because I can't stand writing on a script.
Don't be a cunt.
It does. Yeah.
Has anyone said that on your podcast?
No.
Hey, cancelled.
Not yet.
Oh, fuck. Sorry, you probably can't.
It's all good.
You might have to beat that word out.
No, we're not beeping it.
No, I might. Quite often it goes against what the script writes. Like I can't stand when there's like the ... on a script. Like it's telling you, and it's if you're a casting director and you're watching 300 tapes, and you can hold up the script and watch everyone's tape, and you know when they're going to pause because there's a ... You know, and they might get you to do it on set. They might, but if you just imagine watching 300 of those fucking things, it's like
do my head in.
Yeah, so for me, it might be I'll scribble weird shit. It'll be like, you know, if there's a memory I'll have of like a particular person or something like that, or, you know, little. I don't break it down traditionally. I let my instincts do it, and then if I need to fall back on training, I will. Initially, it's just pure initial instinct, unblocked instincts. Yeah, right. And so don't get me wrong. Sometimes, and I'll do it. I'll send it to my agent, and they're like, I think they want a little bit more like. Down the line on this one. It's network TV.
Yeah.
It's royalifying doctors. They want boring actors doing boring shit, saying boring stuff. You know, it's like, you know, it's not True Detective. It's not, you know, it's not McConaughey in Dallas Wife. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so initially I just kind of word vomit stuff. But the problem is with that, my handwriting's shit. Sometimes, man, I'm telling you. I'm like, maybe I should have typed it out or whatever. And you wake up, it's kind of like people, what I assume, you know, people who are like stand-ups or whatever, and they leave themselves a voice memo. This is really funny. Blah, blah, blah. After smoked, and they wake up, and just like, yeah, fuck it. They're really funny. Hey, just fuck it. Don't know why that person just turned Irish. It's fine. But yeah, I kind of word vomit initially. And then like I said, then I might go back to a more traditional thing. And then I'll hear what it sounds like in my voice. I'll start saying it. I'll bounce ideas around. But one of the things, and I do this with with the actors I work with too, is some of the best stuff, the best creativity comes out in the table read. Oh, sorry,
that's all right.
That's fine.
It's fine. It's only thousands of dollars of equipment. Don't worry about it.
Daniel,
you got that one ad for 12 grand. You can afford it. It's fine.
Breaks fucking mic arm. Some of the best stuff comes out in the table read of movies, right? So rather than doing the traditional stuff you get taught in workshops or whatever, I love just sitting with actors and watching them go through that process. So it's us reading at a table, jotting stuff down, you know, have a coffee, have a glass of wine, whatever you want to do, and just watch that process come out, because that's some of the gold that comes out. And that's how we do it for an actual film. So you book the job, you sit down, you do a table read. And then what happens is, so for a movie I did, Godless, the Eastfield Exorcism, we booked a boardroom in Melbourne for like 2-3 days. And the actors all came in early because we're shooting just outside Melbourne. We did a table read. And then what would happen is we'd come in and we might break off and do like scenes with Georgia and I, who was the lead female, or Tim and I, who was the lead antagonist. And then we'd bring them in, we'd do sort of step throughs and stuff. So that's how I approach it, whether it's just doing scene work with actors or doing actual auditions. It's like, I'll just jump on, like, say I'm an hour away from my actors, so they might live on the Gold Coast, I'm in Brisbane. Just jump on FaceTime and just like do some stuff. And then it goes, shit. Because sometimes you'll do that. You'll be doing a movie, you might all be in the same apartment complex, but you've just been on top of each other.
Yeah.
Not actually, well, sometimes.
Yeah.
Not me. For 14 hours a day, right? So you're up there, you're cleaning the showbiz blood or grime or whatever. And you're like, oh, fuck. Obviously, you're all across the material, but sharpening up on the scene for the next day. You might just sit there on FaceTime or WhatsApp chat. Some of the best, like, you're having your cheese and your wine and you're, you know, 2 doors down from Tim or Georgia's there. And, you know, and that sort of collaborative process. I treat it like, you know, not to digress, but I treat, even if it's not a film set, I treat it like that, because that's what I know the most. I know being on set. You know, I don't know doing workshops and classes and stuff a lot. I know what it's like to do it for real. And that's why I like sort of sharing with my actors.
Yeah. No, it's interesting to hear that, because I've not done all of that. You know, the NIDA and all those big training places. I've only
but some people, and I say all that to say, like, some people go through your fucking 12 steps if that's what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fucking do it. Like, I know for me, I learnt more being on set and doing other things and what have you. So I still fall back on that from time to time. There might be, you know, step 6 or step 7 that I really connect with. The other ones I'm like, nah. But like, but I don't lock myself off. I find, especially as actors, if you're like, this is, it's Meisner, it's this, or Stanislavski, or whatever, like you lock, but then you're, okay, that's fine. I'm not saying it's bad, but you are kind of just going by one technique. What happens if there's something over here that's really special? If you just walk past someone and you're like, oh, fuck, it's, the creative space, I hate putting shackles on it.
Yeah. It's always interesting to me to hear how other people approach it because I'm trying to always obviously get better and learn. And people with more experience, it's great to talk to them and find out.
Well, it's just like, but think about your life experience, right? So, quick cough. There you go. But just think about like especially your military career and even the job you do now. That's pretty unique, right? So I'm always like, and I speak to just amazing actors all the time. And it's like, and then they're doing scenes and they're acting, right? It's like, yo, like just show me some of that shit. Like the story you just told me about what you went through with your mum and dad, or the job you do, or this, or that illness you overcame. It's like, show us that shit. Don't try to be fucking,
I think the issue that I have with that there is a lot of the people, like the directors and the producers that are creating these films, they're going off a frame of reference of other films because they don't have that. So when they say to me like, yeah, just do it like you do this, I'm like, what you think is going to come out of that is not what's going to come out of that. And you're going to go, what the fuck was that? That's not, and I'm going to go, well, that's exactly
what's
how
real.
It is, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. When that dude just got pulverized by a 105 shell and we just laughed.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You don't want to watch that.
You want the person to like, you want that little glimmer of like, I'm just doing this to feed my family.
No. We just laugh. Like that's just, it is what it is. And that's going to ruin your film. Everyone's going to be like that guy.
Or make it the best fucking thing ever.
Yeah. Well, people who have been in the experience are like, oh, that's fucking legit. But that's a very small subset of society.
Yeah, mate. I did SAS. I know.
Yeah. What was that experience like, actually?
I was fucking unreal. I loved it.
Walk me through that whole thing.
Well, obviously, look, I think people need to first and foremost remember it's a TV show.
Yes.
So when I loved the idea of the first series, and I saw kind of what they do with the tropes and the archetypes and stuff. Like Ferris, like he got, the guy is an actor, will get pampered, and you can kind of tell when you do your master interview the angle they're going to take. So actors get pampered. I'm like, well, in Australia, no, they don't. Not really.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's better than doing. Yeah, of course it's better than this, but it's not really pampered. I see in the American films I've done, obviously it's a bit different, but
yeah. We don't have the budget for pampering here, mate.
Yeah, but and then it's like I think I talked about like meditation once, and that was the thing that gets looped.
Yeah.
Right, but I also said, right, because having worked with people who are ex-military and armorers for films, I said, well, you can call it visualization or meditation or box breathing, but before snipers take out high-value targets, they call it meditation, call it breathe to lower their cortisol and stress levels, and so take out, and that bit gets cut out. It's it's or like the psychology stuff. It's like, when I was going through this, it was recommended to me sort of breath work or meditation or whatever, rather than going getting pissed or what have you. But I went to a GP, I sat down and he referred me to a psychologist, and I sat down with the psychologist and sort of, spewed my guts up about, not literally, my emotional guts about everything I've ever been through and what have you. And that's relatable to Macca and Darren down at the pub, but that bit's not interesting for TV. So it's like, here's the actor and what have you. But the fucking course itself, man, oh my God, it was so fucking good. Like I still miss it in the way that there's no mobile phone. There's no, not even salt for your food, no coffee, you're shitting in sawdust. It was just your mind and the people around you to get you through it, right? And I love that part of it. And then there's me as a sports nut. It's like I wear makeup for a living, getting to hang out with fucking Olympians.
Yeah.
And just to have the respect of, it was me and Olympians on the last day kind of thing. And to have, people who are like Ironmen and professional footy players and athletes, VW before me, and to not quit was the main thing. They had to do a cull, a magical cull.
Yeah.
Because, anyway, but there's a lot of TV stuff that goes into it. But the course itself was beautiful. When you see it edited, and what people need to realize is it's like not everyone's paid the same, Like it's like the best way to put it is like, it's like a basketball team. LeBron James is on $50 million, right? Even if he's not having a great season, the ownership want to see him on the floor. So obviously, there's a couple of people there who are paid a lot of fucking money just to do it. They're going to be, things are going to go a bit easier. And the stuff that people like, the DS, they're playing characters on the show. Like people have to realize that Ant Middleton and Foxy and all the other guys, they're not like that all the time.
No.
They're playing characters for a TV show. They say it in their own books. Ant literally says, I put the DS cap on and this because they're characters in a TV show. It's television. It's for entertainment.
Yeah.
So it's just like the judges on The Voice. Do you really think they want to give up that paycheck and go and work fucking security? Really? Like, read between the lines. And look, of course, in every interview, they're going to say, no, it's authentic and blah, blah, blah. We don't know anything about the people coming in. It's a TV show. Like, they have bosses. The producers are their bosses, the network executives. So naturally, if there's someone they want to carry through because it gets them more clicks on their shit, but the course itself was fucking great. You're getting, like, day one getting tear gas. That fucking sucked. And interestingly, so I did pretty well with that. Big Sammy, who ended up passing. Yeah. I think he was the only one to pass. He suffered from it, right? But here's the key. So him and his brothers, this is wild. Like they're all 6'4", and they're barrel chested, right? Amazing lung capacity genetically from their old man. God rest his soul. So this Big Sammy's sucking in his breath. So he got cut in half by the tear gas. Other people who didn't make it past day two, but then seeing things like claustrophobia, how that affects people. I'd never seen that before because, like, obviously it's fucking scary. Getting tear gas is scary. Falling backwards off cliffs is scary. It's all scary, but seeing that debilitating stuff when that kicks in on people, that's fucking wild. Have you ever seen someone's claustrophobic?
Yeah.
Real.
Yeah.
Because you're like, that's fucking small space.
I love the CS gas too. We had to do the academy, and I was the only ex-military person. I mean, gas probably 3 or 4 times.
But dude,
I know what's coming.
People pay so much money for the experiences, like falling backwards off a fucking cliff.
Yeah, you can have that. I'm scared of it.
See what I'm saying? Wow, but like on a show like you just fucking do it. Of course you're scared. Yeah. Right? So I don't have a set fear in that regard. Like, but you're scared all the time. Like, and the best one they got us with was like, they'd always fuck with you. Like, okay, you did really well today, blah, blah, blah. 0600, blah, blah, blah. So, and then they'd bust in, because obviously there's cameras everywhere. Yeah. And the producer would be like, okay, they're all asleep. So, as soon as the last person's asleep, they come in, right? And it's like, the best one they got us with was like Glen 20 with like black duct tape around it, like a gas drill. And so the DS would say gas, gas, gas. And if you didn't have your gas mask on, so out of your Bergen, like within seconds and on, like we just all get fucking punished, right? Yeah. And they come in with this like, it's whatever. And they're like, right, we got through it. And one of the cancers looking at it is literally this horrible lavender fucking Glen 20 shit with black tape around it. But even stuff like that, like the whole point is to make you suffer and to see who's got the mental fortitude, right? So like they do stuff, they do the checks, right? And they literally go through just to find. And we're not in the military, right? So they'd always get us for like the wet kit, So your working kit, right? Which obviously knowing show business, they just wanted the kit to look as deconstructed as possible getting through the series. And we'd have a dry kit, which they never wanted because it's too clean. Yeah. So they wanted you to look like you're suffering. But like, and we'd only had campfires. And this is, out in the mountains in New South Wales. If your collar, when you're hanging clothes up and you got a little bit of moisture there, they'd come up and find it. Or like a little skerrick porridge on your knife and fork. They just like, they find, of course, we're not in the military. They'd find stuff easily. Yeah. It's the whole point, though. Yeah. How do you react to it?
And every task, there's no end to
the water bottles. Fucking like. But that's interesting you say the no end thing, right? So because it was telly, I knew in my mind they weren't using lights. So I knew every task, as if we were losing light, we were going to be okay.
Yeah, because I'd have to run.
And that's why. So like I said, I made it to the last day. Yeah. Because in my mind, I'm like, and I could hear the film buggies running around. It's a fucking TV show. It's a fucking TV show. It's a fucking. Obviously, it was hard. Right? Yeah. It was the hardest thing I've ever been through. But in my, like, some people were freaking out, and I was like, no, there's no lights. We're fine. Like we'd have tasks where half the people hadn't done it, but we'd have to stop because there's no light, and they just cut it together, like because they don't show every single person doing the task anyway. but just little things like that.
Yeah,
you know?
Interesting. I do remember listening to an interview with Ant Middleton that said like he's like the first series he's like was the best.
Yeah.
Because the producers were like, we're just going to put some hidden cams there and
Yeah.
you guys just run a selection course.
And they
he's
weren't-
like, we fucked
yeah.
guns up. Like,
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
And then they kind of, they brought more and more TV into it.
Yeah, all the health and safety stuff and
Yeah.
whatever. But then you start seeing, like, you know, like you start coming out of it. Like there was a thing where, like, one of the last tasks was like an obstacle course where Yana, God, she was amazing. She just had a fucking kid, you know, like, and she kind of passes out, and then you could see the DS going, no, just stand up, just stand up, just stand up, like telling her to just stand up, because it's like there's all like a foregone conclusion of what, you know, just she was the only woman left. She's a strong woman. She was amazing, but like, you know, like they support, like you could tell there's, you know, stuff going on. But the best one is, so like after we get abducted, right? This is the fucking best. So we were given the scripts. If anyone's seen SAS, you get given the scripts to learn. If you're abducted, which always happens, here's the script you learn. This is easy for me, no problem. So Yana and I would always study and what have you. Anyway, so we get abducted. Woo. And then there's a van, right? We get put in this van and taken back to the set. And it's about an hour trip, right? We're filming in a place called Glen Davis, and that's where the base was, and then we were on private property, right? So they could do guns and film brain. I'm like, well, you know, they're not just going to use guns in a live street and whatever. So we said, let's take the van. We said that because the night before, one of the DS had said, like, if you're going to escape in transit. Yeah. So we thought it was like a clue.
Yeah.
No. So it was literally one of the stunt performers, a soundy, and like an extra or something. Yeah. Dudes in balaclava. So the DS had run ahead to set up because it was COVID. They didn't bring anyone into the country to do like this is the interrogation person, blah, 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 blah. So it's just the DS going to do it. So we took the van, and me go like, hey, they can't use fucking guns on a main road. Don't worry about it. Yana was great. She's like orchestrating. Sam's there fucking threatening to choke out the driver, pull over. So we took the van. So imagine us, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And so we go this whole sort of cat and mouse game. We pulled over. Anyway, so the safety vehicle comes in and the producers come out. And one of the producers, I'll say his name, fuck him, Matt Apps. He comes...
Cancelled again.
Comes over and he goes, guys, congratulations, well done, but we're going to go back to the base and film the interrogation stuff. And right that second, my mind just went, fuck all that integrity stuff you guys talk about. I can't be bothered. It's like, you know, and... Then we get into the interrogation stuff, and I'd learnt it, right? So we're given the scenario, if you're captured, say this, you know, and I said it word for word, right? And then I think Yana might have too. And all the other guys just kind of forgot it, you know, or just didn't say it. When it went to air, it said, actor Dan Ewing makes up a scenario. It's like, that's how you kind of, like, I kind of giggle, you know, I don't want to get any legal trouble, but like, I had I got paid well, but I had a really good bonus into me finishing it. So I got cut the last day. Might have saved them some money. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny. But
interesting.
But then Yana was great. So after the show, she's like, no, Dan learnt the whole thing, said it. I did too. Yeah. And then it's like, that's wrong that he's like, the voiceover guy, act Dan Ewing makes up a scenario. Yeah. Angering the DS. It's like, motherfuckers, like... It's like if you'd have said, like, you know, we gave them we wanted them to not, you know, fine. But just, the actor makes up a fucking scenario, please. Yeah. It was a shit scenario. We were like researching an app or some shit, you know, mapping out it, walking the trails for a new app. I was like, you can't do better than an influencer thing. But like, that's where you go. That's the TV show of it. Yeah. The course itself was the best experience of my life. And I still miss it. Like there's times where like not having a phone for 2 weeks was amazing. Being a sports nut, just being there with Olympians and watching them starting off a little sort of out of shape and a bit not past it, but then watching like Yana, Mark Villapousis, like I think he failed his first 3 tasks, but just watching him become, just like it was almost like he was like transported back into becoming that monster that he was. That battle of attrition, and they're all just so nice. There was no fighting. Like Kobe Aberton, like, you know, might have rubbed people the wrong way because he's just so blunt, but he's honest to a fault. You know, so there was no drama with us like other series, and they were trying to like manufacture that. We didn't care. Yeah, everyone was just so nice. Everyone had each other's backs. It was such a lovely experience. And just imagine being like Olympic athletes. You know, it's just, and people at the top of their field. It was so taking a shit next to Pete Murray. Oh, there's Pete Murray doing a shit. How you going? And he broke his arm on it, or dislocated his arm. You know, good old Pete, and he was a monster too. Fuck, he was strong. He had to carry me around the parade square on the first days. But you start seeing little things. It's a TV show.
Yeah,
I think overall people just need to remember it's not. They can say all the integrity and bullshit and whatever. They're playing characters. They say it in there. They've all got self-help books.
Yeah.
You know, talking about meditation and breathing. And one of Fox's best, like, are you fucking meditating? You know, I was like, well, you know, LeBron James does it before a game. So you call it whatever you want. But like, and those tasks, man, they take a day, especially the helicopter resets, right? It's a 20-minute segment, if that, on telly. And we're there all day while, you know, the helicopter has to land, do this, the producers will talk. Next person goes to the safe spot because it's a helicopter.
Yep.
You don't want people around it. Take off. Yeah, all good to go. Camera's set. Like, it's a film day.
Yeah.
So I'm there like closing my eyes. Foxy goes, you fucking meditating. Genius. But like people pay so much money to do that shit.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So much money. It was the best. It was so fun. Shitting in a hole was weird, but you know,
it's all right. It's great. It's good for the bowels. It comes out better. You got to squat down.
It's awesome. Good, but the diet was like, it was wild. It was like, because I thought it'd be like at least like salt or something. It was literally like fish and rice, right? Fish and rice or chicken and rice, and the portions were dialed out. And this is how you know we were together. Because Big Sam, fuck me, 6'4", 120 kilos or whatever it is. So if there's any left over, people was like, we'll like give it to the big fella, right? And he was putting in a lot of work for a lot of the tasks. Like we all had each other's backs. But the way you just think it like perspective, it's like that's some people would need that in a month. You know, that's how we kind of thought about it. Jet Kenny, ironically, it was funny. It was porridge, and I think his mum or dad were like the ambassadors for porridge, and the kid hated porridge. And this guy's a fucking he was physically the most gifted person there by far. I think that's why he was a gladiator. I get it.
Yeah, I don't know why the train that goes past just decided to honk its horn. That's the first time it's done that.
Oh, it must be. Yeah, Jacob's here.
They're trying to cancel us already.
But he hated porridge. Go figure. Like at that stage, I'm like, give me everything. I'm so fucked.
Yeah.
Like, but it was just an amazing experience. It was so fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it would have been good fun, dude.
Oh yeah, the course itself is the best. It's like, let's see what you got. Yeah. It's just and I thank fuck that I discovered all the mind stuff, because I would have not VW, but I would have certainly shat myself earlier. But once you can kind of take a step back and realize what they're trying to do and what is occurring, you still might feel those feelings, but you don't go down that rabbit hole. Because I found it so interesting. When people would VW, it would always be a day or two after you could see they get that look in their eyes, and they're kind of looking down. Oh man, I don't know if I could do this. Or, you know, like and then the seeds planted. The whole time I was just like, and even on the interviews where they say, "How far do you think you go?" So I'm passing. I'm passing. No, I'm just not going to quit. Because this is no choice then. You made the decision. Choice reduction. We talked about it before. And people are like, oh, you're a bit arrogant. No. I'm just like, I've made the decision, because I know if I start thinking, oh, I'd like to get to episode 5, what's going to fucking happen? You're going to get to episode 5. I had it on my testing for the show. Yeah. We had to do the beat test, right? And you're going to have to get to like 6 or 7 just to pass. Yeah. Because you got to think about it. Not everyone. But I said, I'll do 10. Like, I'll get to 10, no problem. Yeah. Right? And I was smoking. I got to 10 easy, right? I got to probably 10-4 because the trainer or the guy assessing me get to 10 in my mind, 10. Yeah, so my brain went, I'm like, come on, cunt. Yeah. God, you're done. Making me look bad. But like I literally got to like, it was like 10-4 or something after smoking it to 10, easy. And you just fragged. You know? Yeah, but it's interesting when the mind, I implanted that thing. So I digress. But all these people who are like, you know, that probably should have gone further, but once they start talking about it, it's funny because that's what they're vocalizing. You can imagine in their mind. And the people who got to the end, it's like, it's not surprising that it's the Olympic athletes. Yeah. And they weren't the fittest people on that course. But to be an Olympic athlete, you could be a fucking psychopath. Yeah. You know, like, or what Philippoussis did with tennis. That's you got to be a different level of human being. Yeah. You know, to do that stuff. And
I think everyone has those moments though. Like I remember talking to a mate of mine, he went on actual SAS section. He passed. He ended up not getting, he gets selected, but he got pulled out of the Rio cycle. I asked him what selection like, and he was telling me, and he goes, honest, I was like, are you ever at the point of pulling it out? He goes, I'll be honest, man, there was one day where it was like in the last week, he's like, if any of the DS had come up to me and gone,
give us your number.
Yeah, do you want your number? He's like, I would have pulled it immediately. I was done. Nobody asked me. They asked every single day before and after that. That one day, nobody asked me, and I didn't get, like, that's all it took. And then by the next morning, I was fine. Like, I just continued on. We're almost done. I just cracked it and finished.
My weakest moment was when I think I lost my number. It fell off in a task. I didn't know what to do. I was there going, the footage would have looked so funny. Boring telly, but I was there going, fuck.
Oh, no.
But it's because I was on task. I think I lost my water bottle on another one because like, they just strapped it. Like those things snap so easily. Yeah. And I don't think it made it to camera. But I think I'd left it in there was one task where I had to paddle across a river and carry the boats up the fucking hill. That was rough. Like that's just on your shoulder. And it was Sammy and I at the back. That was a rough day. But and I think I remember as we were going to paddle back, I might have left. It might have snapped off, so I had it in the boat. Ant lined us up, and everyone's getting a drink of water. And I looked down, and my bottle was gone. I was like, "Oh fuck, okay, whatever. I'll fix this later. Hopefully, no one's noticed." And the ant holds up this fucking water bottle. Whose water bottle is this? And obviously, underneath, it's all like black texture. Name. And I was like, yes. And he turns his cunt and he throws it in the fucking river. And I had to get it fully clothed, right? We're all soaked already. Out I go. Swim. And then he goes, right, 30 seconds to get back on the bus as I'm fucking swimming back in. That bit didn't make it to air, but it was just so funny. Yeah. Because it's like, and it's true, because it's like a sip of water. You know, gosh, what that means in the field. Like, because it's like, fucking bleed out. Do whatever you got to do. Like, no food. Water is so key. You don't realize that till they tell you about it. It's like a sip of water. Yep. Can just completely make or break it. Yeah. A sip. Sure. And that's why they're also on our asses about keeping the water bottles full and stuff. But when because it's like, what's the difference between that and that? It's life and death. That much water. Wild.
Yeah. It's crazy. That's probably a good point. Talking about water, I need a piss. It's probably a good point for a break.
Oh. And we are cancelled. We won't be back
for the 12th time.
We won't be back for part 2.
We'll be back. We're back.
It's like the high five when you're supposed to look at people's elbows. Have you ever heard that?
No.
So if you high five someone, look at my elbow.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm pretty good at high fives anyway.
That's pretty weird, isn't it? Talent. Hey, you like high fiving?
Yeah.
You don't
I love a high five.
Okay.
Love a high five. It's great. It's the best.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But you look at someone's elbow.
Look
at someone's elbow.
Yeah.
All the girls are good.
There you go. Fucking hell.
Look at someone's elbow when you're high fiving.
Oh, fuck. So when it's all right. It doesn't matter. The train. I run this through an AI thing, and it gets rid of that train noise for the most part. Most people can't even notice it, which is good. But you just draw attention
AI?
to it. So
this is what I'm saying. If that thing fucking kills you one day, don't blame me. So when I say that thing for everyone at home, it's like, what do you call it? Control desk, the sound desk?
Yeah, it's the Rodecaster Pro 2.
There you go. It doubles as the bar fridge.
Yeah, it's bar fridge there.
Table.
We've got a good little setup here. It's good.
Sushi.
Yeah.
Craft service.
So what was it like when you first got onto sort of home and away and you started to get recognised everywhere? Like, what's that like getting at a younger age,
I sucked at it. I think I probably, because I was playing the middle brother, like the kind of rat bag, I probably was influenced by my character to be a bit more rock star with it. But no, I sucked at it because I was just a kid from the Northern Beaches of Sydney. Like bar sort of sport was very like I liked it with my mates and my family, and that was it. So to be thrust into like some of the most popular characters on Home and Away, like ever, it was full on. Absolutely full on. And I don't think I dealt with it really well. Like looking back now and doing the work on myself, I don't think myself or my then partner dealt with it as well as I could have. Not that I was never like, how do we say? I was never like sort of full of myself, thought I was better than anyone. It was kind of the opposite. I felt so fucking weird having people coming up and asking for photos or asking my then partner to take photos of me with someone. I found that strange. And like having chicks come up, and you got the boyfriend over the shoulder, so I always made a point to go, g'day, mate. I'm Dan, you know, like, what do you do? I'm a landscaper, whatever it is. It's like, it's really sort of connecting because it's really weird to sort of navigate that stuff.
Do you still get a lot of it now?
Yeah, interestingly, it depends. It's now I do more films, so it's ebbs and flows with the promotions. Obviously, if I've been on the morning show or there's billboards and stuff, you get a bit more. When I was Home and Away, it was nonstop. But obviously, playing a popular character, you're on TV Week, cover of TV Week every couple of weeks. You're in every home, whether whether your family watches Home and Away or not. You see the ads and stuff like that. And like I said, it was a peak time because the show did really well. I was doing really well, especially with that sort of when the River Boys first came in. But I'd have weird shit like my partner, God love it, we'd be at a wedding, like on her side or my side or whatever, and there'd be people taking photos of me that are the guests at the wedding, and my partner would be lovely about it. She'd it's like, hey, he's a guest at the wedding. Like, don't be disrespectful. Not only to ask permission, not permission, but at least ask.
Yeah.
And more than anything, we're here for the bride and groom.
Yeah.
But just little stuff there's probably maybe one or two times where I feel like I always feel bad. Like I feel like I was a little not short with people, but like more often than not, it's super polite, especially if I'm not with my family. It's easy to me, because most people are lovely, but like this one time I was paying for groceries, never get at Woolies, and there's someone literally like here, right? And they're like just doing this at me, and they had a kid with them. Yeah. And I was really nice about it though. This is sort of like after I dealt with it for a while, and I said, hi, what's your name? So they were like saying Heath or whatever. And I was like, oh, my name's Dan, blah, blah. I spoke to the little young fella. I was like, you know what, man, my little boy loves basketball. And when he sees a basketballer he recognizes or an athlete, he goes and asks permission. So next time, just come up, say g'day, ask permission, and then getting the photo, right? So they got their photo, but at the same time, and you could tell the mum was a little bit embarrassed, but she said, hey, that was really lovely. I'm so sorry. I didn't even think about it. I didn't think I was disturbing you. And I was like, well, obviously if you put a camera in my face, that's kind of disturbing me more. I'd rather you speak to me like a human being and, but like I had times where when my ex was pregnant with Archie, we're in Wollongong and we're having a steak just before a basketball game. Illawarra Hawks versus Sydney down in Illawarra. Having a steak, and this lady comes up and she spills a cocktail. And then I think my ex at the time was 7 months pregnant. Spills a cocktail all over it, right? Yeah. And I look over. I was certainly not going to fire up because stuff like that happens a little bit. But I saw the husband holding her handbag. If you go out with your partner, and the partner's a bit pissed, and he's holding a clutch handbag like that, and he's like, "I'm so fucking sorry, bro." I was like, "It's okay, mate, no problem." It's more just like I didn't want it to fall on my former partner and Archie's mum at the time. But the cocktail was just so it was one of those sticky strawberry fucking things with a fairy floss around it. Yeah. But you get but most people are lovely. You get these big Polynesian blokes, and they're walking up. Oh shit. Sorry, is that your girlfriend? She just wanted a photo, no problem. It's like, hey Heath. They ask you questions about the storyline and but most people are divine, especially because Australia is very coastal, right? So a lot of people, it's about our town or whatever. It's it's great. It's great. But look, if I'm holding my baby girl, maybe don't come up and tackle me and ask me for a photo. It's like if I'm with my family, I'm in dad mode, Yeah.
How do you set those boundaries with people? You're like, look, because I understand you're at a level of fame where people know you and you are you're still a person, so you're cruising around, whatever. You kind of become accessible to everyone immediately, and they know so much about you. How do you navigate setting that boundary? You're like, look, man, I'm really not in the mood to be doing this. I'm just trying to have dinner.
I'll give you an example. An American actor I worked with. What did I say before about not getting cancelled? Yeah. Don't be a cunt. Right? So we're sitting there at a restaurant. The cast would finish late. We're all eating dinner. And there's these two young ladies I could see. You kind of feel it. Right? They're looking at you a lot and whatever. They'd finished their food and they were waiting. So I went to the bar to training. It's good. The bar to order some drinks or whatever. And they sort of stopped me and said, hey, Dan, great. Congratulations on this movie, blah, 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 blah. We're big fans of Home and Away. Can we go a photo? Cool. Snap, snap, snap. And they said, can we get a photo? Do you think X actor would mind? And I looked over and I said, and he'd done some stuff on set that I was like, oh, he's not Aussie. He's a little, American, a little bit, it's okay. He's a lovely guy, but just sometimes gets a little bit prickly. So I was like, hey, look, just wait till we're finish the food or getting up and whatever. And they did that, and we were taking a while. So I kind of saw what they were still waiting. This is like kind of 45 minutes. So I kind of leaned in and I said, hey, old mate, do you think the girl's been waiting? Do you think? And he goes, no. Like straight to me, like I'm sitting like here. He goes, no. Like super rude, and just kind of went back to. I was like, listen, man, don't talk to me like that.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just like, so I made a point of getting up, and I went back to the girls and I said, Mr. Call him by his last name's not available at the moment. Made sure he heard it.
Yeah.
From that time on, we were a bit prickly, but I was just like, there was no one else there. And look, I've had times in food courts. So that's where you get, especially when home and away, you go and order a Subway sandwich. Someone asks you a photo, and then it's like, what's going on? Then it's like you get. It was a dead restaurant. It was just the cast and these two lovely ladies who'd waited and waited and waited, and it was just like that for me was like, okay, that's country behavior.
Yeah.
You know, don't do that stuff. Especially it was like kind of song. I was like, hey man, just a quick one, and they can bounce. But then, and I guess I was a little bit more harsh because he'd spent a lot of time like in time zone. That was his thing as a gamer. So he'd go to time zone and love it and get all the attention and do all that stuff. But like when I was like, no, I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But just it's little things like that, you know, I kind of just, I would not do that to someone. I'm sure I've been like, guys, I'm with my family. I'm so sorry. I can't. Or in fact, so if I've been out, so if I'm out with mates or a post game and we've had a couple of drinks, right? No one needs to see me with like a kebab hanging out my mouth and red wine tongue or whatever. So what I'll do is I'll say, hey, I can't have a photo, but my name's Dan. How are you? And I'll have a quick chat. I was like, could we not do the photo though, please? And if they've got the right intentions, it's fine. But if they just want to get a photo with you while you're half cactus with a bunch of mates, you know, it's different. But I make sure I say g'day.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like just it doesn't cost you a cent to be polite. Shake hands. You know,
that's got to be a whole other level to it. Like how do you?
But imagine being like
mates?
Justin Bieber or you know, or one of these types. It's like it'd be unreal.
Yeah, it'd be flat
unreal in a way that it's like, you know, I like being able to, you know, I can still go to, you know, Westfield and chuck a cap on you. You get the old person that says, oh, you know, but it's not like it's just you can't go outside.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That would be tough.
You can't leave the house.
Yeah. Because I understand it from both sides. Like I get it from like the actor side. You're like, look, man, I'm just a normal dude. I just do a job. And just because I do that and you know who I am does not give you license to just have my time. Like I'm another human being. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
it is what you sign up for. But you're dead right. But just be respectful.
Yeah.
It's like, and this is what I would say to my son. If the person says no, obviously Aussie and Kiwi actors are a little bit different. Sometimes in the States, they're a little bit different. It's a different world. But if you ask politely, say, I'm so sorry to disturb you. But you think after you finish your food, can I grab a picture? If they say no, you live with it, you know? And most people in Australia aren't going to say no. You know, if they're not, you know, trying to get to, if someone is rushing to get to a flight or they're with their, like, you know, they're with their family and they've got 2 kids and maybe it's not the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, cool, I got to see that, but maybe it's not the time to do that. But sometimes it's, you know, people get a bit excited.
Yeah.
You know, like a lovely young lady in the petrol station, quite literally yesterday, she goes, oh, you're Dan Ewing, right? You're on over. I said, yeah, I do mostly movies now. How are you? And blah, blah, blah. But I'm literally paying. Yeah. At the time, I said, just give me a second. I'm just going to pay for this. And when I was on the holiday. And she had a kid with it. Yeah, man, what's your name? He had no idea where it was. Yeah. He was 8. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, you know, name Mac. Okay, Max. Hey, cool. Footy, whatever. Yeah, but have a chat. And see, she didn't ask for a photo, but it was that connection is worth more than the Instagram moment. Yeah. I hope. Yeah. I'd like to think. Yeah. Maybe if it was TikTok, it'd be different. Yeah. Pop my ass up.
Yeah. Well, people remember that shit too. Like they really do remember.
You can get a quick photo. Like these meet and greets, right? I've done a lot of them. It's like the quick photo, right, is one thing, but it's when I get the emails or the inboxes, it's about, hey, just so you know, my mum had, you know, just beaten cancer, and the fact that you know, you got the photo, but also you talked to her and shared your, you know, your family's thing with it. That was just like, you know, and you meet amazing people. Yeah. You know, there's so many amazing people out in the world. Everyone's got a story. Everyone's got something they've been through or something. And when you just stop, connect, you know, we're all connected. It sounds very deep, but we are literally, like, scientifically, we're all connected. Like I said, we're all energy. All this is all connected, you know, black, white, green, you know. Yeah. So doing that for me is better than the Instagram moment.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier you've been through the divorce, obviously, with your ex.
Divorce?
Yeah.
Oh, God, go to Sydney. Come back.
What's it like dealing with something like that so publicly? Like something that would otherwise just be sort of friends and family that know about it.
Yeah.
Now it's all over the tabloids.
My best and worst moments
Yeah.
get played out in the public eye, and that's what you sign up for. Really interestingly, so now I look at it as a place of absolute gratitude. It sounds fucking weird, right? But like at the time, going through a very public divorce, at the time I felt my son and my career were being leveraged against me, all that sort of stuff. But what it did do is made me just appreciate that inner circle and the real people in your life, like exponentially. And so we cut to now, and it's like, you know, I moved up here like 3 streets away from my ex and the stepdad, who's lovely, and Archie's got an amazing little brother, and I've got a beautiful little girl. But if we don't go through that stuff, she doesn't meet the man of her dreams, and I don't meet the woman of mine. You know, and it's so funny. And like when we're going sort of through all this stuff, it's like, you know, all this sort of negativity gets put out into the media, but when it's positive, they don't want to know. Or when, you know, for example, people get accused of things and they get acquitted, right? That's not newsworthy. Yeah. I literally have an email saved, screenshot, because I'm petty. Yeah, it's going to come out one day, but it's like when things are said about you and they get proven to be untrue in a court of law, and then you say, okay, so insert journalist here, you're obviously going to share this information. We don't think it's newsworthy. Yeah, I've got that email. Yeah, like that's wild to me. Yeah. So I've got a saying, it's called, there's no clicks in harmony. There's no clicks in harmony because, again, what we're talking about with all the COVID stuff, right? This isn't me just going, fuck the media and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the way it works, it's like, so it's meant to engage you. So you're fight or flight. It's like, oh shit, I need this product, right? I need this thing to make me feel better about this thing that's, you know, whether it's illness or whatever. In the States, you see it all the time with all their advertising and what have you. But so there's no clicks in harmony is like look at why reality TV shows are doing so well. It's the drama element. It's the drama element. The media don't want to know that because of COVID, I couldn't attend my premiere for Occupation Rainfall with my fiance. It was also in shout out to Kat. Marnie, my ex-wife, my little boy's mum, went to that premiere because we couldn't go. Do you think they print that shit? Nah. I don't give a fuck about that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like they just don't care. It's like, and don't get me wrong, it's not just all media stuff too. I make sure I own, like I didn't have to berate my little boy's stepdad. It's quite public knowledge, but so when you're doing handovers with children, right? So it's a very awkward situation at the best of times, right? So I'm scheduled for a handover. So I have my little boy for the weekend due to go back to his mum, right? Let's just see the stepdad. And this is like, we're good mates now, but this is the time where it's like, I don't know you, mate. It's literally my idiot voice. And I wasn't drinking at that particular time, but I was drinking a lot more. So I might have been a little bit, you know, not on my game or whatever. And then you get all your emotions into it and all that dumb shit that you do as a male. I'm like, I'm not giving my son. It's a nice guy. He's not like going to hurt him or whatever. But you get your ego involved, right? And all that sort of stuff. And I was like pointing my finger at him, like, you're not his father. Doing this dumb male stuff that we do, right? And that's the sort of thing that went public. It's like Dan Ewing pokes, you know. I think the words the media used was like assaults. What poked him in the chest. Anyway, long story short, all this is thrown out. There's no like the police doesn't even go to court. There's nothing, right? But do you think they'll print that, but they won't print anything about the ex going to other stuff, to the harmonious stuff? But you just need to like. I need to own that. Like I could have easily not put myself in that situation. Easily, I could have easily gone. You know what? I know you're not a bad guy. Sure, like it's not ideal that his mum didn't turn up because parent. I can't go too much into family law stuff, but it's supposed to be parent to parent. Not all. Parent to step parent, but it's supposed to be in writing. But I knew he's a lovely guy. He's a fucking legend. But like ego gets involved. I could have easily gone, oh, here you go. Yeah. But I decided to be like, you're not his father.
Yeah.
Because, you're going through, you're not seeing your son as much as you want or whatever. But owning that situation helped me not demonize the media as much, if that makes sense. And having friends in the media, it's like, look, man, obviously it's newsworthy. You idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great when you're promoting a show or whatever. You love the medium, and it's like when this is newsworthy. So it's a bit of give and take.
Yeah.
But it was fascinating, and just owning it, man. It's like, look, fuck, I was definitely drinking more than I should have been back then. Whether it's suppressing pain or whatever it is. But then, coming out of it and now being here, living, you can hear my energy's changed. Like moving here and moving in 3 streets away from my ex and Archie's stepdad, who's a legend, and it's much nicer to be here. So if anyone's going through separation or whatever, I would just say there is light at the end of the tunnel if you take your own shit out of it. Take your shit out of it. Make it about the kids. They call it child focused officially, but when we started doing that, it's kind of like, what are you arguing about?
Yeah.
Well,
that makes the sense. Like it makes the most sense.
But it's easy to say now when you're not in it, right? And we'd both luckily had 2, like I said, the woman of my dreams. I've now got a beautiful little girl with, and Marnie's now remarried. And Dave's such a legend. They got Archie's got the best little brother. He's so cheeky. So it's supposed to be. It's like,
yeah,
But when you're in it, it's very difficult.
So how'd you meet Kat?
So I knew Kat through the industry. So her mum is a talent agent, and just through industry circles. But we were both sort of, I think I was with my former partner at the time, so we kind of knew of each other. And then I went back. I was so smooth. Went back to do some spin-off episodes for Home and Away with Foxtel. Yeah. And Kat was on the regular show at the time, and I was like, getting my tats put on. And I was like, looked at her. I was like,
hey, babe.
Hey, I was like, hey, I'm Dan. And she's like, I know. It's Kat. I was just like, oh, fuck. Smooth criminal out the door, loser. But just, and gosh, and all the personal development stuff, I really owe it to her because we're very yin and yang in that sense. It's like I wasn't into it at all. Her and her lovely mother, Sonia, were, had far more like read on all that sort of subject matter and material. And they're the ones who literally put it in my hands. But that's how I'd say, reconnected. There was no sort of like, and because in fairness, she changed her hair color. So I was a guy.
Yeah, fair.
It's like she was blonde when I knew her. Like she was
totally different person.
She was a natural brunette. Like, and I was like, okay, natural hair.
Yeah, totally.
No, I don't give away my type, but
they're a different person.
Yeah, but it was very funny. Just the way she's like, it's Kat, you loser. Yeah. I was like, oh,
interesting.
Okay.
So how'd you know? How did you know that she was the one?
Oh, because she was the one who would challenge me the most. As in like, not as in like a fight, confrontational kind of way. She, don't get me wrong, because she's European. She's tough when she wants to.
She throws hands. I've seen the bruises.
Yeah, she's 5'2". She's 5'2", and
blink twice.
I always say she's like an ant because she's 5'2" and very strong. Like she only weighs 40 something kilos, but she can lift a heavy weight. Oh, that's gross. No, because like she would always see the good in me when I was going through my divorce, and like, and it's like people have juice for their breakfast. I was having red wine because I didn't have my son on me or with me. And so it's like a gun. Yeah. I didn't have him on me.
Like a keychain.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, Arch. But she would always say, hey, look, just because it's summer and we can sit by the pool when you're not shooting and you really need to start drinking bourbon at midday or whatever. Or when I was in like real pain, like red wine first thing in the morning. Because like we've talked about in the before the break, it's like that in my brain was like the fastest way to get rid of that trauma, that pain that of not seeing your son is glug, 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 right? So, but she'd always present it in a way that was never confrontational. And kind of, it's like when human beings hate being told what to do, right? So, but she would always picture it in a way that was like, hey,
it's like, try this juice.
It's kind of, try this. Oh no, the juice is in the fridge.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so good from this juice. It's good. But you know what I mean? It was like, she was like that, but like and yin, very very yin and yang, and had that sort of old school, very old soul, so European sort of values and very like uber about respect and
Yeah.
you know, and obviously she's fucking babe too.
Yeah.
right? So-
Yeah, I've seen she's gorgeous.
I
She
mean,
is. She is.
look, I mean, like
Yeah.
little Daniel was like, she's that one. But yeah, and just I never felt like I'd grown as much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I still every day, because I'll revert back to dickwad any day, you know.
Yeah.
So like I owe so much, and it's funny how the way she is with me and how I've been able to sort of help people, is it's solely on her feet. Obviously, I had to make the choice eventually, but I'm very slow turning boat. I feel with that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I sound like I've got it figured out, but it's like I feel like it's so. My natural thing is to be a clown and you know and whatever, but no, it certainly is a lot of it's owed to her, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. What kind of European is she? Like where?
Macedonian,
Where is that?
or
Where
now
is that?
North Macedonian, which is
Where the
so
hell
you
is
know
that?
the Greece, Croatia.
Oh,
that's,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, that kind of area.
yeah, oh, amazing.
Yeah.
She walks outside and she's like, so you guys can't see it. There's like a mahogany. You might better see it. Mahogany desk.
Yeah.
That's what she goes outside for like
Just
2
browns,
days. Brown. I took a photo of her in Croatia once. I had to lighten it. You know, people darken their photos. But she was so dark. I had to lighten it just so you could see her face. Unbelievable.
Dude, I burn. I'm pasty white.
Yeah.
I burn
No,
immediately.
I'm lucky with so I can go brown, but my brother who's 2 years younger than me, he goes outside. It's like migraine. He's got that Irish English, like proper like. He'll wear a shirt and it'd be like, say he had a V-neck on, it'd be just the red triangle.
Yeah. I remember watching a dude walk down the beach once in like a white singlet from a distance, and then he got up and I realized that was his singlet tan.
We'd have it on
was burnt. It was nuts.
Home and away, so they do a lot of tours, which are really good fun, by the way. So a lot of people, so you board the bus in the city. I think they're called celeb time tours or something like that. They're great, good fun, because you get on the bus and you go through and then you're Palm Beach. That's a good hour and a half. So number one, it's like take a piss. But two, it's like the amount of times I've seen people, they go out and they do the tour or whatever. Let's say they're fresh off the plane, say from Dublin or you know or London or whatever it is, and they've got their vest. They call them vests. They call singlets vests.
Yeah.
And you know the person who's, it's not just white, but they're almost clear.
It's translucent.
Yeah, and you could see the veins underneath, and they're kind of, you know, the underneath of their feet, like if they've got flip flops on pink, they look like, you know,
Addict's wet dream.
Yeah. I say this in the nice spot, but you know, like lab mice, have they got the pink ears and pink.
Yeah.
But like, and it's like, guys, Australian sun is fucking different down here, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's just please, and they get back on the bus, and they're just absolutely like dark. It looks like it's horrendous. It looks like a beetroot.
Yeah.
You know, please.
I've been purple. My back went purple. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
Oh, the pain was just.
Did your mates put the dick and the sun cream on your back?
No. They were like, shouldn't you put some of this on? And I was like, no, my granddad used to tan real good. I'll be fine. I was not fine.
My grandfather, Ray Ewing, who just passed, he was in the Air Force up and down, and there's just all like olive oil and stuff, right? And he spent, like, he didn't pass from cancer to old age, thank God, lived a long, happy life. But the amount of stuff he had to have cut out of his fucking skin.
Yeah.
Just because they're just sitting up there, if they're not on mission, it's just like, yeah, cool.
Tan ox.
Olive oil and whatever. I was like, legends, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, get some dip.
Oh, mate. Some
crackers.
Some of the boys, when we went overseas and replaced the guys from Brisbane were there, they took us to little bomb shelters. So when we rocked up, they hadn't built the chalet for us to live in. We were sleeping in tents. So when you get bombed from incoming fire, whatever, you'd have to get up. That air raid signs are going, and you go into the concrete bomb slab. But the roof is like had a divot in it. They'd thrown mattresses up there, and that was the tan place. And they go up there in nothing but a sock, and just
amazing
tan out
the sock
until they put the blimp up, and then they could watch.
There's a tanning sock, and then there's a self-love sock.
Yeah. No,
amazing.
Probably the same for them. They weren't rich men. It's good times. They also had their weed plant up there, so it was excellent.
Well, it's medicinal, right?
Yeah, well, it is now. The walking through fields of poppies with other fields next to them of just wild marijuana was nuts.
Unreal.
Yeah, people are just taking pockets.
Who lit that fire?
Yeah, exactly. Have you seen the journo doing the interview? They light it and he's just off his head. Oh,
he was the first cocaine shark.
Amazing.
Cocaine bear. Oh God, that was funny. He's just giggling to himself, wasn't he? With the
He's just
marijuana.
cooked trying to get through this broadcast as he's just high as a motherfucker.
I'll tell you a story about me with that stuff. So I'm not into, I've certainly partied in my time, but I was never into weed smoking or smoking in general. Because like at 39, like a good old shout out to Marist College, North Sydney. If you were smoking, right, a lot of the athletes didn't do it, but like the teachers would, because there'd be this place in the car park, and it'd be like the skaters, like skating at that taboo shit back in there. Or you got Globe shoes and an SMP belt.
Yeah.
I'm telling you fucking know.
SMP belt?
Right. If you know,
I'd forgotten about them.
Right? And I had a plain black one.
Yeah,
in
we all
Globes.
did.
But like you get caught smoking in the car. But we'd have our year coordinator and like the footy coach. They usually coincide. They're going to do like a little loop around the car park. Okay. And if they caught you smoking, they'd make you run with the cross country team.
Ooh,
how good's that?
That'd hurt.
Yeah, that sucked.
That would really hurt.
That would suck.
Yeah.
And then but then little Johnny's mum was like, "It's child abuse," and that had to go. And then what happens? There's a million smokers in there. Anyway, I digress. But so I'd never been into smoking, but so the last injury I had, ankle injury, I sent you a photo, I posted online.
Yeah.
Ankles swollen.
Yeah, it was massive.
And I don't know if it's just an old age thing or middle age thing, but at 30, I couldn't, like the codeine and anti-inflammatories and stuff. Just started fucking with my stomach a lot. I was like, oh, this is wrong. And a buddy of mine says, hey, you should try CBD oil or
I got some
THC or the THC or the gummies, right? Right. And I'm like, oh, look, man, I've never been into that stuff. He's like, just do. Trust me, it's not like I'm not going to like give you some dodgy brothers thing. You literally call up, do a proper phone consult and whatever. It's like, and then, and obviously now they've legalized it, or not legalized in a lot of states.
For medicinal
in the US, yes, of course. And in the NBA, they don't test for it because as opposed to guys playing their game, leaving 10:30 at night, landing in the next city because they play 3 games a week, and then having to drink a bottle of bourbon or take opiates to get to sleep or for pain relief. They've allowed that stuff. I was like, so he gave me a few gummies, and like I'm just telling you, this is my personal experience. Obviously, don't drive, don't do any of that. So I was sitting in this big swollen ankle. Stomach was fucked from all this codeine and anti-inflammatory. Sitting there, well, why not? Gave these gummies a try. I'm telling you, stomach, nothing. Right? Cough break. The cigarettes. Winnie Reds were good with the gummies. Good combo.
You were into the Winnie Pinks.
No.
Those who know will know.
Oh, fuck. But the water retention, swelling, obviously like pain relief and sleeping is good with,
yeah, it's great.
CBD and the THC gummies. And I was like, but just to be able to call up, describe it, and it's like this regular pain meds. But when you look into like big pharma and all that sort of stuff, and like, I'm not going to give a conspiracy theory, but it's like, it's a lot of money,
Yeah.
And what athletes go through, because that's what I really looked at. And I always spoke to, when I did the Chasing Comets movie, like a lot of athletes about pain relief and the stuff you're given just to keep you, because you're an asset, to keep you on the court, keep you on the field. And then how many of them, especially ex-wrestlers with the roids and the stuff, it's like how many of them top themselves or whatever. I was like, look, if this, it's a chemist drug, cool. I'm not really into like, I don't want to go and like, I want to go get a bag of weed from some guy at the train station. Wasn't my thing, right? This is like all done properly through a chemist or an online platform. You have 2 interviews. I'm telling you, the inflammation, the pain relief, and nothing with my stomach. Which that's a recent thing. Maybe that's because I don't take a lot of meds anymore. As I get older, I'm like, I've been really lucky. I didn't get sick till I went back to Sydney. Go figure. But it was something there. Like it's good. My personal experience was like inflammation, pain relief, sleeping, no bad symptoms, no side effects is the word term. No side effects.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's never been my thing. That's kind of like, I wasn't a big advocate thing for it. Because you listen to podcasts like All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Stephen Jackson and stuff. And it's like, there's something there.
Oh.
But I get it's a fine line though, right? Because you can see how people can drift into other things, or just kind of just being the cliche weed smoker from movies. But there is, there's something there.
No, I got both, and they're great. I use the CBD without THC 3 times a day, and then I take the THC at night about an hour and a half before I go to sleep, and it's good. I also get like a nice little buzz at night too. So I start to feel it. I get into bed, and then I scroll Instagram Reels, and I cry laughing for like a good half hour, and then I go to sleep.
Instagram. The hub.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm a big proponent for it.
The hub,
it's
the
great.
tube.
Yeah. Fuck.
Cancelled.
No, very good.
But that's good. But like, so like, if anyone's unsure, but you literally to get it from a chemist here in Australia, you literally have to do a consult and all that sort of stuff as an alternative pain relief. And I was just quite honest. I was like, look, my stomach is fucked from this codeine and anti-inflammatories that I'm having. My ankle's like this. It's like, okay, well, isn't a thing. You have this. And it was all a proper process. It's not my, I'm not looking down my nose at anyone who gets it any other way.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Call her Braxton. But you know what I mean? It's like, I wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing because it's, but it's so funny. And it's like, oh yeah, I've been doing it for years.
Yeah. No, you're just a pothead, bro. Which also fine. I've smoked plenty of weed back in the day.
Yeah.
I've smoked it for many, many years, but we had some fun.
Yeah.
We had some fun.
It's just this, like,
17 to 19.
Again, it might have been an age thing, but I was just like, it was seen as taboo when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. It's like all the smoke, but they were never athletes. So now you see it like, it's like with gaming, right? Gaming was a taboo thing.
Yeah.
But now, like, that sort of stuff.
If you think those e-sport gamers aren't blazed out of their minds playing COD,
they've got the Canon Monster, but then there's the crystal meth being 100%. The thing.
Those dudes are off their head. I don't know how they can play it for that long. I can sit down for a couple of hours and I'm done. Like, it just does my head in. I got to move on.
What's the dopamine hit, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. It's tragic how they've weaponized that. You are slowly dying.
It's my soul.
Sydney does that.
2 years. 2 years, fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Sydney does it.
The second I landed back in Brizzy,
yeah,
I was like, oh, I feel a bit scratchy. Woke up, coughing stuff. This is what happens.
Yeah. I wonder if it was just a change of climate because it'd be way colder down there.
Oh no, look, it was colder, but my lovely partner loves a heater. I'm the opposite. I'm like, give me the shit. I got windows open in winter and
no.
I'm like, no, it was one of you filthy New South Wales people.
Yeah, no, I need the heater.
I'm one of you, but it's. Do you? You like the?
I'm with your missus on that. I need the heater.
Damn.
Well, I found out the reason women do.
You would love the military.
Oh, dude, I remember. We got taught early on, like for cold weather, especially because when we deployed, it was winter over there, so it's like -15, -20 plus wind chill. The extreme, like I didn't know this. Sleeping bags are basically designed to reflect your heat back on you.
Yeah,
so the more layers you wear,
well,
the less warm you are. You have to strip down.
Yeah.
Mate, I was on the side of a mountain in a little pop tent by myself with my Recon 5, buck-ass naked.
Yeah.
Toasty as anything.
Yeah.
When the A&A decided to shoot a cat.
Just holding your sack.
Yeah. I just heard the rounds go off.
How you going, boys? Are you still with me?
Oh, mate.
Ah, fuck.
Freezing.
Not now, frostbite. Not
so
now.
Good. So good.
No, I'm. It's always funny. It's like people who like they freak out and then they get cold. It's like it's your core temperature. It's got nothing to do with what you're fucking wearing. Like it's like you can wear whatever you fucking want. If your core temperature is dog shit or your blood flow, it's like, oh, I get cold all the time. Have you been for a walk today? Have you moved?
Yeah, do something.
Do something. Wake your system up. Just get it moving. It's blood flow.
Yeah.
And I run hot anyway, so I can't. Like I'm not be judgy on it. But people who are cold, it's like. Go and buy all the fancy shit you want. Go buy some more fucking Kathmandu thermals. Yeah. Have you moved your ass? Oh, when you move, it's magic. It's just like, oh, who knew? Yeah, because your system's moving. You know, people don't get it.
But we as men keep our heat, whereas women radiate heat. So when they've got a baby, they can hold it and they can help warm it with their own warmth. Yeah. That's why they're always trying to touch you. But you fucking stop touching me. You're burning up. Get off me.
Well, the hot showers too.
Yeah.
Quite often, women get hotter showers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst. You jump in, it's like lava after them.
I'm in Brisbane. So I wear a hoodie if I have a late basketball game. I never but in Sydney, I still run hot, but I have skins on and whatever. But yeah, Brizzy, Gold Coast. So I just don't think there's ever a reason to wear a fucking
no.
You know, like I've got I know when we moved here, I just brought all my stuff. Obviously, I've got these leather jackets and coats. coats. So
don't
when you go to
have
Melbourne,
fancy.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's like I've got like a couple of like nice sort of duffel coats. It's like when you go to Melbourne, oh, I get to pack my coat.
Yeah.
It's from Country Road.
Yeah, I got to wear my my puff jacket for the first time in a couple of years last night. It was good.
Yeah, you're the new puff daddy, the one that doesn't touch people, unless they ask. But no, but like you go to Melbourne. The thing is, it's like I like packing light. You know, like packing. If I can get away with, so when I go to Sydney, I mean, I'm lucky because I've got my mother-in-law down there, so I can I'll leave. You know, leave a couple of black t-shirts and some runners and a pair of boots and let's rock. You know, going to Melbourne, like it's like okay, it's a proper. I probably shouldn't check. I probably should check this suitcase. Like you're taking your coat, you're taking your jeans, you're taking a like hoodie, the gym gears, probably like a hoodie and stuff as well. But then it's like you really, even in Melbourne, especially in winter if the weather's bad, you're outside for 7 seconds and you walk in, it's like fuck,
dude,
taking all the layers off But when I travel, so, you know, like the travel faux pas, like you shouldn't travel in shorts or whatever. I'm like, no. Like, I can't stand being like muggy on planes. It fucking shits me.
I'm good.
Of course you are, because you hate the cold, right?
Yeah.
I get muggy quick. Like I'm like got the air on.
Yeah.
Like,
I've got the air on, but I like the air to be cold, but me to be warm. So I'll throw a heater on in my room because my bed doesn't warm me much.
Yeah, I've got heating in my house. I've got like we bought a separate one for Cat. Like it was oil heaters.
Yeah.
I haven't had it on. I hate it. I've got the sheet. I've got my leg hanging out. Like Cat will be with the doona. So I'll be like, you know, legs akimbo. Like
you're such a slut.
Yeah. I'm just like
spread eagle.
In fairness, I'm a little bit heavier than she is. Yeah. But it's like I just like when the air's moving. I just need air movement. Yeah. Like even if it's just like a little fan to like feel something.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Stop
it. That's dark.
Stop it. So how did you find this love for basketball? Because you're a fucking basketball fanatic.
Okay, so I found the sport late. My dad, a very Aussie family, so like cricket and footy and stuff. And this was before. It was kind of just after that huge sort of 90s Bulls basketball thing kind of dropped off in our country, and then whatever. But it was just like it's that or cricket. And I was like, cricket was okay, you know. But I think my parents were kind of like, oh, look, there's 3 of you at that stage. Maybe like watching cricket for 4 hours. Basketball. You know? Yay. I kind of fell into it backwards and I kind of shot up early. I was a bit, I was going to say a bad word. I wasn't that coordinated, right? I wasn't the best, but I loved it, right? And the thing, this is because I wasn't a gamer. Like, I'm like, so now like, we've got a great hoop at home, but there's always like things that might excite my son more rather than, you know, whether it's going on his bike or, you know, games or whatever. It's like the hoop was my thing. Like, and I literally I was begging my parents to get us one of those portable hoops you get at Rebel for about a year, you know, to get it. So I was on that nonstop, and then at school and what have you. And then I made a rep team, and it was always like every team I've ever made, I was always dog shit. Every level I went up, I was never like overly like I'm 6 feet, right? Broad shoulders, sure, but like at that time I was like gangly, you know what I was. So, but the thing that I find now different with kids is like I saw that and I saw it as like, okay, fuck, I need to crack on and do this and this and get better at this, right? Just to get playing time. Now I find I don't know, there's something, it's not self-entitlement. It's just a different time now where it's like kids are like, they don't want to do that. When I say kids, listen to how I'm speaking.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 39, I'm not old. Yeah. But I see the kids my son's age. And there's that. So I was like, oh, if I want to play, I've got to do this. So it's like, I haven't played. I started late comparatively. So some guys have been playing since they were 5. I started when I was, maybe 11. So what can I do? I'm really good with my physicality, so I can stop people from doing what they want to do. Yeah. You know, so I started with that, and then I sort of built on my offensive skills, became a really good shooter, and then I went and did Power Rangers, and I came back and I was like, had muscle, and all of a sudden my jump shot was like, went from being really nice to being like, meh. Yeah. So I had to learn other skills, and I was only 6 feet tall. So I was like, right, I've got to learn to be a point guard. So learn to play the game the right way, pass, cut, screen, do all that sort of stuff. And one of my best mates, Kevin White, who I played at Manly with, made the Kings, right? And then I jumped on a home and away at the same time he was on the Kings. So it was interesting to watch our careers kind of parallel each other. And then, and because you're on home and away, courtside seats, and then being able to watch one of my best mates play. And I think in America it might be different, but I think they enjoyed having a fan that had kind of played at the representative level before. Because it wasn't just like, I actually know what I'm fucking talking about.
Yeah.
I'm certainly never a pro, never will be a pro, but to have played at that sort of, for want of a better term, semi-pro level when I'm playing for Manly, it's like the guy gets it. He's not just there going, because basketball's a weird sport, right? It's not
I know nothing about it.
Yeah, it's
Michael
like
Jordan.
Great.
Yeah.
But it's an entertaining sport. It's indoor, and you can actually get way closer to the action in basketball than like a rugby or a soccer or whatever. Basketball's a more intimate thing. And so I still play. I play Monday nights and Thursday nights. Yeah, and I love it. It's harder when you're a little bit heavier, and you're doing ankles, and it's not a sport you can hide in either. Yeah, because it's 5-on-5. Yeah, and teams that are good can kind of expose weaknesses, and it's hard because always the mismatch. And that's what it's all about in the NBA. They try to find the mismatch. If LeBron James has the ball and he's got the best defender on him, which he usually does, he'll be like, right, hey, Macca, bring Darius up here, So Macca will set a screen, when you see them do that, and then LeBron dribbles off and they have to switch, otherwise, so the defenders will switch, like, right, now I've got fucking Darius on me. Thanks, Macca. I don't know why Macca's playing with LeBron, but thanks.
He's good. He's good at the game. Mac is a bit of a weapon.
In fact, as we speak, as we're recording this, the Boomers are playing their first game.
Ooh.
In
the
not to hurry you the fuck up. 7:30 tonight. Boomers versus Spain. We owe those bastards. It's like we'll release this 6 months later. It's like, what's he fucking talking about?
No, nobody's gonna know. Okay. Nobody's gonna have a clue. Well, being that you do want to get home and watch that, I'll give you one more. What's a piece of advice that you give?
Did you say that to all the girls?
Yeah, pretty much.
Being that you want to get home, I want to give you one more. Get a t-shirt. Get a t-shirt, man.
Mum's going to enjoy that one. That's good. What's a piece of advice that you would give to someone? Something that, it can be anything. It can be acting, it can be basketball, it can be life in general. Something that perhaps you wish somebody had told you when you were younger.
Easy. Don't take yourself so fucking seriously.
Oh, dude, I say that all the time.
Right. But the parallel and the paradox with that is it's like, yes, you need to value your self-worth and self-empowerment. Take that seriously. But if you allow yourself to be offended, if you allow other people's decision-making to affect your happiness, you're just giving your fucking power away. Take it. Yeah. Take the fucking power away. It's like, it's okay to be pissed off or whatever, but when you put it in actor space, whether you get the job or you don't, or, if, Julie wants to go, Julie
Roberts
wants to go on a date with you or not. If your dad says sorry for that thing you did when you were 11, you're going to be very disappointed, right? And you're basically just going, here, take your power, take the power. There's some really fucking horrible circumstances people have to go through, right? If you can own it, take responsibility, you take that power back, right? But don't take yourself so fucking seriously. It's like you can be offended any way you look now, right? You can control if you're offended or you take so have some fucking fun, have your goals, have all that stuff, be a great human being, right? Start a podcast, lift the lid.
Yeah, lift the lid on life.
Hey, there's a t-shirt in that.
But
you know what I mean? Like, if you don't take yourself so fucking seriously, then you don't get your ego engaged and you're having fun. Get pissed off, But don't let that, like, I always see it like a fly buzzing around your head. Like you've seen that movie Wanted when Jolie shoots the wings off it, or the Chinese movies where it grabs it with the chopstick. It's like, how long is the fly going to buzz around your fucking head for? Because that's on you, Some horrible circumstances, but it's like you hear stories all the time where people flush children, but at that moment they choose to, be in service of others or whatever, But that's why I look at that stuff all the time. It's like when I'm being a fuckwit or I'm being like impatient or I'm being short or not as present with my kids, I go, don't take yourself so fucking seriously.
Yeah.
You muppet. There's plenty of worse shit. Like we live in Australia. People don't realize. It's like, do you know how bad shit is in that fucking world? You know. It's like, just travel. Shit is fucked. What do we have to do with Tony Abbott and his speedos or whatever? It's like, you know, look around the world. You know, when you travel, you realize how lucky we are in this country. You know? And that's my one thing, especially. I'm not just saying this because I'm sitting across from you, but the work I do with Defense Kids, which is it's a great program that works with kids in their parents are in the services. Because as you know, guys, kids are hard enough to deal with as it is.
Yes.
So imagine being uprooted every 3 months. And now the stuff that happens in the media, which we don't need to go into, with how some of our military personnel are treated, right? Which is fucking gross. Yeah. You know, and a good friend of mine, Heston Russell, just won a court case, defamation case. Yes. Right?
He did.
So that's why I sort of lean in and do that stuff, because cough that stuff.
Yeah. Thanks for giving me the AIDS, mate.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's good because it's like people in this country don't realize how easy we fucking have it here, man. Like, even, you know, it's like Medicare. In the US, Medicare kicks in when you're 65. So what happens before then? It's all privatized and whatever. Like, and it's people like yourself going out there putting boots on the ground to keep these freedoms and to keep this country the way it is. But I just think sometimes the reverence gets lost. Not to go down that rabbit hole, but it's like, in the US, you're getting on a flight domestically in the US, and it's obviously people who need assistance, but it's their military stuff. I'm not saying act like the US and go into you know what I'm saying, but it's like, I think sometimes in Australia we just forget there are people out there doing that stuff for us. You know what I mean? And I'm very privileged because I get to work with a lot of, you know, ex-military, especially when out in the armory departments for films. And you're just listening to the stuff, just like missing birthdays, missing weddings, you know, the missus leaves you, you know, while you're away, you know, you got 3 months left, you can't do shit about it. Just your children are getting bullied because you're in the services. That for me was like, you know, that, because, you know, my son's copped a bit of stick sometimes because, you know, I'm in the public eye, and someone's mum says this to, and a little Jimmy overhears it and whatever. And I'm just like, my God, like, we're in a place where military servicemen and women's children are getting bullied. Fuck that, you know? So, yeah, Defense Kids are great. So they're doing a cartoon about it and stuff. So Bluey-esque, where they'll, you know, be doing all that stuff. But it's such a privilege not to go down that rabbit hole. But it's like, it's beautiful for me, you know? It's like working with the Olympians in SAS. It's like working with military servicemen and women, and just hearing everything from how bored you get sometimes to everything, to the struggles of, like, you know, it's how I provide for my family, but I don't see my family.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah, as an infantry soldier, you basically spend sort of
I don't care, I was just coughing.
6 to 8 months outfield every year.
Exactly, like, right? So, and you haven't got kids you know about yet, or you admit to. But can you imagine just like having 3 kids, and it's like your lovely partner, you know, man or woman is at home, 3 kids, thinking about that. I mean, imagine if you're, you know, in a difficult, if you're on mission and it's what would you call it? Like a high
deployment.
Yeah, in deployment, but like in a high, like, dangerous situation. What do you guys call that?
Oh, you just be on deployment.
So, yeah, on deployment, right?
Yeah.
So it's right. So
depending where you're going.
But like, imagine that for partners. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, in the States they do a great job of, you know, the connection of families and what have you. But oh my gosh, like, I can't imagine that. It's like it takes very special people to walk in that world. That, you know, I always found it funny when, especially with what Heston was going through, who's a close friend of mine, admittedly, and I work with him on the veteran games that he's running. It's unreal. But like, just what they do and what they go through, what you guys go through, is just like, it's wild to me that some fucking pelican can read an article in the ABC, which was proven to be defamatory and wrong, and believe that as gospel. It's like, gosh, I would never, ever, 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 ever condone war crimes. It's like, hang on a minute. Like, you're just reading an article in the media, and maybe it's because I know what I know, but you're reading this and taking it as gospel. It hasn't been vetted properly in a court of law. And these people can print this shit. And as we found out with Heston, they should not have printed this shit.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
take that. You know, it's just it's a very interesting world. But I would just hope that Heston's case in particular, it's like you just look at it and go, there's always another side. There's always an agenda with media. Unfortunately, there is. Someone's paying their bills.
Yeah.
You know, someone's paying the checks, and that's okay. Because like most of us aren't going to slag off our employers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're your own employee here, so you can.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
and
No,
turn
this
her.
Jake,
Fuck
he's a
that guy.
piece of shit. That guy. He sucks.
Dickhead. What a loser.
Yeah.
But I feel so fortunate to have worked with so many ex-servicemen and women, you know, Navy, military, you know, SAS, commandos. It's been fucking fascinating. And it's so opposite of what you think. They're such nice people. I think people might think it's like, oh, they're expecting Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, and it's just like, they're just people. You would not know them from bar or soap.
Yeah.
Apart from that they're fucking jacks. But
Yeah.
you know.
There are some assholes out there for
No,
sure.
of course. But it's like any job. But don't paint everyone with the same brush. You know?
Yeah, for sure. That's some good advice, though, dude.
Don't take yourself so fucking seriously.
Yeah, fucking.
It's actually kind of funny
Have a laugh.
when you can laugh at yourself. So if you're in a particular situation, it's going, there's someone way worse off than me.
100%.
It's like there's someone who's just like doesn't know where the next meal's coming from.
Yeah.
We're pretty fucking lucky in Australia.
Yeah. And that's one of the things too. When you are worried about where your next meal is coming from, that's a big problem, and that's a real problem. You don't have all of this other shit that's not
perspective. And you don't blame people for that because everyone's, you know, it's all
Yeah.
thingo, and it's like because some people they may have never come across those sorts of issues before. And it's fine.
Yeah.
And you know, you demonize it from it, but it's like if you can just step out of it, not take yourself so seriously, you're setting yourself up pretty well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, dude, thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking some time out of your day driving.
Thank you.
16 hours from Sydney through the traffic.
Yeah,
bringing A's with you
so-
to give
so
to me.
far.
Awesome.
Um,
No, it's been good to have you on, dude.
Thank you,
Much
mate,
appreciated.
and congratulations on the podcast. And thank
Thanks,
you to everyone at home for not only listening to this episode and us gibber on, but to everyone who clicks, likes, subscribes.
Yeah.
You
Mucho
know,
gracias.
screen records it and sells it on their own. It's
Yeah. Hey, look, link me. I don't care. Just give me a few cents.
just tag me.
Yeah.
Just
That's
tag
it.
me. Thank you to everyone at home who stayed with us.
Yeah. Give Dan a follow on the Instagrams. What's your Instagram handle?
@_ Dan Ewing.
There you
Because
go.
someone,
Dane Wing, actually.
yeah, someone got in before me and stole my shit. So Dan Ewing's gone. @_ Dan Ewing on Twitter and Instagram, and Snapchat is fucking gone.
Yeah,
There's
you
no
got rid of that.
TikTok. Is there another one?
I've screenshotted all the dick pics.
What's
and
your
sent
what's
those,
your what's your hinge? What's your
Hey, my hinge. It'd just be my name, I would assume.
what's your grinder?
Hey, it'd be your name, actually. I'm on there as _ Dane Wing.
Jesus
Yeah, excellent, dude. Thanks for coming on, brother. It's been good.
Thank you, my
sharing some
brother.
life.
Peace.
Enjoy. See you later, legends.